Hello and welcome to the Yeerky Boys. May the Kandrona shine and strengthen you. My name is Will.
My name is Jonathan.
And we are the
Yeerky Boys.
We're excited today because we're finishing up season 1 of the Animorphs TV show. This is the last 2 episodes of season 1, Face Off, parts 1 and 2.
Wow!
Are you excited? I'm excited.
Now, I think maybe
Oh, God.
these episodes aired on February 9th and 16th of 1999.
That is one possibility, for sure.
Well, here's what I know it can't be. It couldn't have been. It couldn't have been March 26th, 2000.
Yes, so right off the bat, I guess let's just launch into this right now, so the people know.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah, I see one source saying that this aired at the end of season 1, where, the season 1 ending should be. And I see another source saying that this aired after the start of season 2. Like, literally, not even, like, the first episode. Okay, so this is a 2-parter, and the third part is going to be the first episode, quote unquote, of season 2. I think I have multiple sources, I believe, say that episode 2 of season 2 aired before all 3 parts of this, which is insane and can't be right. But also, my sources don't agree on when season 2 starts, right? Is it in, like, March of 2000 or September of 99? Something weird as fuck is going on, and it probably has to do with the difference between Canadian and US air dates. That's my guess.
I think you should clarify, because when you just say my sources, it makes it sound like we're on the wire and you're underground in an office and Bubbles is coming to you like,
Well,
hey,
I didn't
know
want to
about
go
the air dates.
I didn't want to fucking go back and check which one was which, because I don't
You just mean the 3 websites we look at.
No, I mean between Wikipedia,
Yeah.
IMDb, and the Nick Story Wiki, which I believe is pulling like TV Guide air dates for Nickelodeon specifically. But I don't remember which one said which, and I don't want to look it up without knowing the answer to this conundrum. So I don't fucking know.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
As we've commented on this before, kids shows, in the 90s and today, frequently are aired out of order and all over the place and have insane schedules because kids don't know what the hell's going on. So it wouldn't shock me to learn that they somehow played this 3-parter like during for whatever reason. Season 1 was almost over and they just held these episodes. They were like, I don't know, let's not air them yet. Let's just save them. And then they aired them when they got a season 2. But like March can't be right because didn't season 2, like you said, season 2 started after or before that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand anything. Wikipedia's listing it's at least consistent. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I want to believe in that.
In our mid-season break, I might just start diving around for, like, somebody has to have archived copies of the TV Guide, like actual TV Guide archive, and I can just figure this out but if I had to guess, my guess right now is that in Canada it aired at the reasonable date, and then on whatever fucking network they air things on in Canada, and then on Nickelodeon things got delayed on this particular episode for some reason, and it aired at a weird time, if I had to guess.
But what we know for sure is that these are meant to finish off season 1.
Yes, for sure, which is going to be important. The timing on this will be important for certain story aspects that happen in this episode that do happen in the books, but not until after when this episode must have been written.
And this is really, for us, this is special because it's an actual season, not just we made something up and decided it was a season.
That's right, which is why we're not even really going to do a season break the way we did before, because why would we respect that?
We kind of are.
We will.
We
do a sort
we
of
are.
season
I
break.
mean, we are.
We are, I guess. Yes, that's sort of true.
Yeah, I mean, in a technical manner.
Yes.
Look, we have 2 episodes to cover today. It's a season finale, so you know it's gonna be big.
Mhm.
So we're holding all emails until next week. So
Okay.
if you have thoughts on the finale or season 1 of this show or any Animorphs thoughts in general, send them to us, theyeerkyboys@gmail.com. You can also find us at Patreon, patreon.com/theyeerkyboys. We do bonus episodes, song parodies. You get all kinds of fun things over there. $5 a month. It's worth it. I did want to actually, I know I just said we don't have time for a lot today. And
We
that's why
have
we're not
time.
doing emails.
I think
Well,
we have time.
I, well, we do have, I just want to, I think we should make time because this is sort of a surprise for you, but I actually have a special guest that I'd like to patch through that wanted to talk for a few minutes at the start of the episode today.
Oh, wow. Especially I don't know anything about this is a surprise to me.
Yeah, it's a surprise. I actually don't even know what he's going to say. He said he had some important
Uh-oh.
stuff to talk about.
Uh-oh. I hope we don't get you better not bring anyone on who's gonna get us canceled here.
Uh,
Well,
I'm gonna be honest. It
hmm.
might be a controversial figure in some ways.
Well, as long as it gets us more ratings. Sometimes controversy is good for that. So,
Yeah, I would say like he's not on the level of a JonTron,
okay,
say
okay.
in terms of being controversial.
I thought it might be JonTron.
No, I tried to get JonTron. I couldn't get him.
Uh-huh. Well, let me let's hear this
All
guest.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
introduce them.
I'm gonna patch him through right now. Hold on. Beep boop beep boop beep boop. That was obviously a joke. I'm not. I didn't. That's just so listeners know. I didn't. Obviously, that's my voice. I do have a real phone. I really am patching him in. Hello,
Hi,
hello,
hello. Hi, special guest.
hello, Yerky boys.
Who am I talking to?
This is RFK Jr.
Oh, wow. Wow, what a big name celebrity we have. What brings you here, RFK Jr.?
Thanks for having me on the show.
You're welcome.
I wanted to stop by to clear the air because I know you've been talking about me on the show and about the worm that's in my brain.
Right, right. Oh yeah, we're being Yerky boys ourselves. We love that worm in your brain, RFK Jr.
Yeah, right. Listen, I wanted to set the record straight and tell you and your listeners once and for all that the worm in my brain is not a worm. It's a
Oh,
yerk.
whoa! Holy shit! This is
That's right.
breaking news.
Yes. Yeah, my yerk's name is Figgis772, and
Uh-huh.
we've got sort of a Mr. Tidwell situation going
Mm.
on.
So am I talking to RFK Jr. or Figus 772 right now?
We consider ourselves as one. You can use either name.
Okay, okay, that's good to know.
It's a symbiotic relationship. However, I want to clarify we are not a part of the Yerk resistance. We,
this is the plot thickens.
we both hate humans and Andalites. We
Right?
plan to help conquer the Earth. And I also wanted to comment I know there's been rumors about me killing a bear.
Right. Oh yeah, I've heard about those rumors. Hmm.
I wanted to set the record straight about that too. I did kill that bear.
Right.
Specifically because I thought it might be Rachel.
Uh-huh. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. And I think you were talking about eating it too, which sound I mean, was that like Visser Three's plan?
I was just hungry.
Oh, okay.
Cheryl doesn't let me eat a lot.
um
That's
listen,
all I wanted to say. Do you have any questions?
no, I think you've pretty much explained everything anyone might ever want to know about you. Was
Okay.
wasn't there a whale controversy too though? Is that Cassie? Or am
Yeah,
I
I thought it
making
was.
that up?
I thought it might be Cassie.
I think I made that up.
No, there was a whale. I tried to kill a whale. I thought it was Cassie.
Listen, everybody, this is our first foray into journalism, and I think that it's only right and good that you should tell everyone you know that the Yerky Boys are the new frontier in independent journalism. You heard it here first. You know a number one trusted news source. Don't listen to the lamestream media. Isn't that right, RFK?
That's right. That's
That's
right.
right.
That's right. I have to go. The president needs me for something.
Hmm.
Before I go, I just wanted to
We-
say one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
Live from New York, it's Saturday night.
Ah. Clap, 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 clap,
He's
clap.
gone. He hung up.
Okay, good. I have to say clap, clap because John can't hear it. It gets
Right.
filtered out in the call.
Right. Oh, that was wow. I mean,
That was
I
crazy.
thought
I can't
it'd be
believe-
worth that
Wow.
because 15 years from now, when someone finds this podcast again, they're gonna know what that was about, and it's gonna be a historic moment.
This is for future archaeologists.
Yeah, future archaeologists.
Mmm. Oh, I like that.
Anyway, so
That's probably
that was
enough for
important.
today's episode.
Yeah, that's pretty much going to be part one. No, we do. We got to now
What are we
talk about
doing?
Face Off parts 1 and 2.
That is what we got to do today.
Yeah, just drinking some water over here. No reason.
I wonder if, yeah, I imagine that must be hard on the real RFK, who of course that was. Like, it
I don't
must be
know how
hard
he
on
does
his
it.
voice. Yeah.
I do not know how he does that all the time. That's crazy. If it were me, I wouldn't do that. I would stop.
Yeah, no, of course.
But he
you
is
would
committed
never.
to the bit. God bless him. Anyway,
Okay.
our president, RFK Jr. Go ahead.
Our president.
Our, like you and me, the Yerky Boys.
Oh, yeah,
president.
of course, yes.
We endorsed him, if you recall.
Oh, I think yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah.
I don't recall, but.
It might have been on the Patreon.
All right. So, directed by Graham Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
I want-
Graham Lynch.
There you go. I expect that from you now. Written by Jessica Scott and Mike Wallager, who, notably, this was the same team as The Leader. So this is our two-parter Dream Team writer
Yeah.
group.
They also wrote The Escape.
Was it both of them? I thought maybe only...
yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe that was only, like, Mike, but okay,
I think they're both, I think they work on a team for all their credits on IMDb.
Okay.
Which one was The Escape? I actually don't remember.
Hold on here.
Because
Hold
it's
on.
not the book.
Yeah, it's such a pain in the ass problem.
Oh, is that the other? No, we only had one Visser 1 episode, right?
That's fucking... What the hell came between the message and the alien? Jesus Christ.
No, wait. The Escape is the
Am I gonna have to actually... I was like, if I just look at where it was in the show, I'll remember. No, I have to go to my fucking notes.
No, this says The Escape is the oatmeal episode. That's what it was. That's what
Okay.
IMDb says.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'm seeing it here. Yeah. Okay. So the escape is the underground.
Right. I was so confused because I was like double thinking myself. I was like, well, it's not the oatmeal because that's the underground. But that's not the underground. Right. Okay. Whatever.
Fucking
Anyway.
naming convention. And of course, the escape doesn't mean anything. All right. We don't have to.
Escaped.
We already talked
Now-
about it that episode.
I don't know if this is just has no meaning at all, but I don't know if you noticed on Wikipedia for Face Off Part 1, they're listed as Jessica Scott and Mike Wallager, and for Part 2, Mike Wallager and Jessica Scott.
I did notice that. I wondered if you would know what it meant. I wasn't going to speculate. Maybe IMDb would clear it up.
I mean, it could just be just random. Somebody did that. It could be a guild thing where maybe whoever writes the primary draft gets first credit or something, and they switched off. I don't know.
Yeah, are they actually credited that way, like in the episodes, or?
Great question. Well, we'll find out as we rewatch them because I don't know.
Okay, I'll let you keep an eye out for that.
Okay. But anyway, pretty exciting. Face Off Part 1 and 2. We speculated a lot about
did
what we thought
speculate
these
a
would
lot.
be about. And I mean, you were certainly more correct than I was. You're mostly correct. Well, we haven't seen Part 3 yet, but...
Yeah, I was correct in some of the basic things they did. I was incorrect in in thinking that certain things wouldn't get handled until next season. And they also did a bunch of shit I was not expecting.
Mhm. Yeah, these
Um,
are mostly new.
yeah,
Like,
it's
yeah.
actually kind of crazy. They throw quite a few new things at us for these 2 episodes that are brand new, like, not even in the books new. Um, More than I was expecting. It feels
It's
like all
kinda
the
cool.
Yeah, it is kinda cool. It feels like all the episodes that really were just spinning their wheels and doing nothing, it's like, "Okay, we gotta make up for that. Let's do a bunch of stuff now."
Yeah. Well, it's like seeing an alternate universe. It's like there's a branching timeline of Animorphs from this period, and it's like, well, what if? Because that's basically what it is. Like they hadn't covered every book,
Mhm.
but they were more or less at the same point as the books. I mean, they weren't, but they. You know what I mean? They were in terms of what they could feasibly do on TV, at least.
Mhm.
So it's like, yeah, what do? You have to start like it's almost like Game of Thrones late seasons when they had to just be like, well, we got to figure out how it ends, I guess. I don't know. Let's just start doing stuff.
I'm so glad you said that because I was just like, "Man," the only thing I can think of is, like, back when I was a teenager and I shamefully still liked anime. It's like when they caught up with the manga and had to make filler, but I don't
Right.
like to relive that part of my life.
I don't know that at this point Game of Thrones is any less shameful or more shameful than than manga and anime, but
No, it's less shameful.
okay.
It's fine. Everybody watched Game of Thrones, that's fine. Everybody watches anime now, and they should be ashamed of themselves for doing so.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, anything else? I mean, should we just get into it or any more business we need to go through?
Not really, other than all these new people who played controllers, most of whom I have no fucking idea who they were.
Yeah, I
W
don't know.
There's Sarah Meninin as
Well, I know who
Anne.
she is, but
Yes, I
that's
know who
part
she
2.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's in these episodes. There's also a controller 1, a controller 2, and a Scotty and a Tanya. I have no idea who Tanya could be, and I can think of 2 controllers who might have, uh, like, names, so presumably one of them is Scotty, but there's 2 of them, so maybe they're controller 1 and 2? I don't know.
Sure.
So,
I don't know.
if you can spot who any of these people are, I'll check back and give you the actors' names, but if I sure don't know.
Yeah. Nobody cares.
Yeah. Okay.
Nobody gives a
Do
shit.
we wanna leap into this shit, or
Yeah, let's 20 minutes in, let's leap right into it.
we didn't even have any fucking emails.
Well, he did have a special guest, to be fair.
That's true, that's true. Alright, so, we open up, we're in Jake's room, he's listening to some song or other, which I think might be listed in the credits, but there's
There
multiples, I don't know
are
which one it is.
2 songs in the credits, and I didn't look them up, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where the second one would be either, so I don't know. There's no lyrics. Whatever. Tom shows up with some other controller. There's going to be a big game at school. It's the big game. It's like basketball or something, and the sharing is going to be helping set up, and so Jake, morphs Lizard to go spy on
That's
them.
right. I just want to take a minute to once again appreciate the aesthetics of Jake's room.
Hmm.
That looks like it's just straight out of the 90s catalog of kids' bedrooms. He's got, of course, his basketball is on the bed next to him as he's reading some kind of a book.
Yeah, well, he loves ball.
that's
Ball is
that's
life.
how you know, yeah, because he's just always ready to. Does he have a hoop like on his door, or does he just have that thing like a security blanket? What's he doing with that thing?
Yeah, he's ready to run. The only hoop I know of is the one out in the driveway. So maybe he's just got to be ready.
Because he's not just dribbling it in
No,
his bed. Like, is he just like throwing it up and he's spinning it around on his finger?
at,
Maybe he's doing
at
some
any
globetrotter shit.
moment, someone might challenge you to a game. At any moment, you don't be digging around for that thing.
Right. He also has a pair of Groucho glasses on his lamp. I think that's a very nice touch. I don't. That's more of a Marcos thing. I don't think Jake should have that.
It is more of a mark. Like that's not. Was that like a? Because that does
That's
not
not
feel
a
like a
thing.
trendy thing, right? Like that wasn't
No.
that doesn't that yeah, no. So that's
That's
like
just
an
like
individual character thing, which should be a Marco thing.
kids have stuff in their rooms, so there's some stuff.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Like I
Anyway,
get it. That's the sort of shit that like you could see a kid doing, just not Jake.
you know how fucking annoying it would be to have a controller brother and just all the fucking time, all they fucking talk about is the fucking sharing. Like, shut the fuck up. We get it. You love the sharing, Tom. Hey, I'm going to a sharing meeting. Oh, Jake, you coming to the sharing meeting? Oh, I can't tonight, Mom. I got to go to the sharing meeting. Jesus Christ, shut up. It's no one cares. We get it. You have a fucking hobby now. Shut up. Anyway,
Yeah, you could
pissed me
probably
off.
say the same thing about like scouts or something, right?
Yeah, I guess it's any of the, I guess that's like church.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Sunday school shit, whatever.
But it's like, God damn. That's all he ever fucking talks about.
Yeah, get a real friend.
It has, as you said, he morphs into a lizard. Been a long time since we've seen a morph this early in an episode. They've really been
Yeah.
sometimes like scarcely using them, if at all, and sometimes it's like the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about these episodes, and I got a lot to say.
Mhm.
They do a lot of morphing, or at least a reasonable amount. Like there is morphing.
There is morphing does, of course, there are also still several times when morphing does not occur.
Yes, that also does happen.
I'm sure you like seeing that poster again, the Pluto poster that we found out was a Canadian band.
Yeah, it's always fun to see the callbacks and know that they keep the sets the same. I get to see Jake's like danger keep outdoor again too. All that shit.
Yeah, it's very ominous the way they do it.
Hmm.
This well, like the music's playing and it's like slow
Oh, I
motion
see. Yeah.
because he's about to morph. But this is a new friend that Tom has too. Do you think this is Scotty?
I don't know. This is not the controller that I most wanted to know who he was, so I'm hoping he's controller 1 or something, and
Is
not
this
Scotty.
not the same guy from the school? Is that not the same guy?
He's one of the same guys from the school.
The guy who like blocks them from getting in later?
Yeah. I think or I gotta look at his face. I'm pretty sure. The problem is he looks like a generic jockey blonde Canadian guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Because I feel like I don't know. He's the only one that I can remember that really had a significant number of lines.
There's also a dark-haired guy who's like always getting yelled at by Tom and Chapman, who I really liked. We'll get to him.
Okay, sure.
I was hoping he was Scotty, but I don't. Who knows?
Scotty doesn't know.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So there's we go to the barn. Marco's all hyped up about the game. And they're talking about how the sharing setting it up so the yeerks are probably planning something. Just a classic. But here's the other cool thing about this. This is how you know it's a big episode. Is that we're like a minute in and we've seen every Animorph.
That is insane.
Sometimes we don't see them, like half of them at all.
Yeah, that's true. Including Axe and Tobias. They're both in here.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yes, insane.
We should point out that in the barn, it seems that Marco and Rachel showed up together.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was worth noting.
Okay.
I don't know. Did they just happen to arrive at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe Rachel's hair is a little messy.
Yeah, Marco's hanging back about 10 feet just to, so
Right,
it doesn't
right.
quite look like they came in together. Like, hey, Rachel's already here. What a coincidence.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a great shot with you got 5 of 6 Animorphs in this shot. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Marco does a funny handshake with Axe.
Oh yeah, Axe does not know how to do the terrorist fist bump thing.
I'm sorry. Should you explain why you're calling it that?
No.
Okay. Maybe you shouldn't have said it at all.
If you know, you know. If you know, you're old.
I guess I'm not old. I mean, I am only 26.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
And then Rachel kind of ruins this moment for me. Like Marco said something funny, and I forget what Rachel says, but I just know it wasn't funny.
Oh yeah, they're saying I have it written down here.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always write it
I
down
knew
when
I could
Marcus says
count on
something
you.
funny. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they're all probably yerked, even the cheerleaders or something. And Marco's like,
Mm,
not the cheerleaders. It was
right.
funny.
Well,
It's funny.
but then Rachel's like, "Get over it, Marco," or something, like
Yeah, it
just
kind of
something
sucks.
super lame.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was sort of confused about that line reading, to be honest, because that seems like he says it sarcastically, I think.
Hmm.
Like, oh no, the cheerleaders. But it also feels like Marco would say that sincerely, like, oh my God, not the cheerleaders. So I don't
Well,
really, I don't
I mean,
know.
here's the thing. I don't know that Marco is ever fully sincere. I think he's more like you. Like,
Mm,
he might legitimately think that, but he's still going to phrase it as a joke because it's funnier if you
mm,
say it like a joke.
maybe. I feel like I would want him just to say it, oh, like more exaggerated, like he really means it.
I see. I see. Uh, we got to give a hair down alert for this episode. I think it's probably hair down forever now on Cassie.
I hope you're keeping track of these because I want to know at the end what the score is between the two.
I'm not keeping track, but they
You
are in my
fucking
notes
idiot.
every time. So
Well, that's what I meant.
yeah, I can look through them all. It's not like I've got 50 books here. Um, that would be too many to look through. I'm not going to look at.
Hmm.
Also,
Yeah.
Cassie's. What the hell is this all maroon outfit? Maroon shirt with a maroon jacket over it. What is this?
Well, she's really excited about what I assume is the latest Bare Naked Ladies album at
Hmm.
this time.
Maybe
It's
she's
called
a Maroon
Maroon.
5 fan.
Uh,
Maybe Bugs Bunny just insulted her.
yep. The top three maroons. Number 3, 5.
Number 3, 5. That's good.
Yeah, I might blue sky that later.
Yeah.
Um, um, all right. So I am okay. So I mean, I know I should just accept this
Yeah.
at face value because who cares? But
Go for it.
and we'll I'll get more. I have more questions about it as we go later on. But the fact that they're like, oh man, a basketball game, we got to show up because this would be an ideal event for the controllers. Like as opposed to literally just any time of day at school during any meetings or assemblies aren't there basketball games probably every week? Like why is this
Yeah.
the thing?
And everyone's going to be there, so it's the perfect opportunity to take all of them at once, which, like, isn't that way harder than just taking them one by one every single day? Like, that
Yeah.
sounds way easier, and I don't. Yes, a lot doesn't quite hang together here. So similarly, I think we can just say now, like, we do. It's pretty obvious, pretty quick that like this is part of a plan to obviously capture all the students, but also capture the Andalites we're going to talk about. And
Mhm.
because they're right, obviously they're right. This is a big plan to snatch everyone, even though
I
that's
guess
dumb.
maybe the sharing has never sponsored it before now.
Hmm,
That's maybe the
that's the
justification,
tip
but
off. Yeah.
it's
But
like why not?
so by the same token, last time I said that I thought that part of this might be a plan to capture them at the school, right? Because they had said, "Oh, we think the Andalites are connected to the school. I have a plan." Um, I don't think this is a great plan to capture the Andalites at the school. This is a fine plan to take a bunch of students all at once, if that's what you want to do. But like, if you're targeting the Andalites, why would they show up to the basketball game? For like, how do you? Why? Maybe they did just don't do that. Like, I don't understand this
Right.
plan from the Yeerks perspective because it feels like it is supposed to be a continuation of that thread the way I predicted, but it's really just kind of not.
Yeah, it is yeah, I did think about that. Like it, it's what you said. It kind of is and it's kind of not because you could have just had this episode
Yeah,
without that episode and nothing changes.
right. Yeah, it's
They-
not
It,
really.
you can just also read into it like, oh yeah, I mean they'd say it. They do know there's
Mhm.
Andalites in the school. So it is part of it, but that has no bearing on whether or not they would have done this anyway, it seems.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't necessarily feel like we're building to this episode, and more like they had a team writing their final episode, and at some point they're halfway done. And they go and say, "Hey, guys, writing this episode, put in a scene that leads into it. Wouldn't that be cool?"
Yeah,
The kind of
maybe.
thing.
I mean, this plot could have happened at any time during the season.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, the only thing making it special is there's some significant stuff that happens towards the end, but
Hmm.
or I guess not even towards the end in part 1. And end of part 1. Anyway, we'll get
Yeah.
to it.
And I mean, on that note, like part of the whole we know the Andalites are connected to the school, like that was supposed to be an ominous thing last episode. Like, oh shit, they kind of might know who they are. And this episode, that is not touched on. It's just kind of like, we're doing a big thing and we think Andalites will show up, which, maybe you think that because you're doing a big thing, you know?
Yeah, wouldn't this be
So,
like? Wouldn't they see this as an obvious trap? Maybe.
yeah, yeah. And it's not like they're looking around at all the students suspicious, like which one of them might be the Andalite in disguise. They're just like, I bet they'll show up and we'll get them.
Yeah, yeah,
You
it's probably
know,
one of
so
them.
so it
Whatever.
doesn't feel like that kind of ominous thing, but
Jake is a lizard.
yes.
He's a really big lizard, by the way. Like,
Yes.
come on.
I immediately thought to myself, why are you turning into a lizard to spy on him in
Mm-hmm.
your house? Isn't that
Mm-hmm.
like the most like that's really obvious. Why not be at least like a mouse, if not a bug or Homer? And
Yeah.
Jake immediately says, "Why did I turn into a lizard again?" And I'm like, "Good question, Jake. Great question."
Yeah, this is a real missed Homer op.
Yeah, where's Homer this episode?
Unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, we've seen them do bug morphs on the show.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I'm sure that they said, "Oh, kids like to see a lizard more. We haven't done a lizard in a minute."
Mhm.
But it is stupid.
The lizard's
There
on
is
the first book. It's iconic. Like the iconic Animorphs morph.
Yeah, because this is totally that lizard.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
mean,
we don't know. We don't need, let's not get into what types of lizards are which. That's gonna derail us.
Okay.
I did notice again there was some more Jake voiceover here, which I guess happens more when they're in animal form, but it's not thought speech. Like there's only him around, and he is narrating his actions as he goes.
I didn't really.
I mean,
note that.
you just said he says, "Oh, why did I turn into a lizard?"
Oh
or
yeah, no,
whatever.
you're right. Okay, I guess I did notate that. It just didn't occur to me that that was a thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I've been noticing it. It feels like they just do it when they are afraid something's not clear. And I wish they would do it as a choice, as an active, creative decision and not just to fill in gaps.
I get that.
It's fine. Because I actually think it's interesting, but they just don't. It's just like whatever. They throw it in when they need it.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that's in there to lampshade why people are going to ask about a lizard, or do you think that's there for
God,
people
no.
who missed the opening, tuned in after the opening credits, and were like, "What's this lizard? Oh, it's Jake."
We didn't even get to the opening credits yet, though.
Oh, we didn't? I thought we passed the opening. Oh
He's
shit! No,
in-
you're right. Because I
Yeah.
always mark we're opening. What the fuck?
Yeah, all this stuff is still happening pre-intro.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they just wanted to remind you that that's Jake and not just a lizard. So he's talking to
We
himself.
already saw him morph. Whatever. Who cares? They remind
But
you.
then they cut away. So what if you forgot?
Yeah, I guess that's
Or
reasonable.
what if you didn't make the connection because you've never seen Animorphs before? So you just saw his face turn green, but you didn't actually see him fully turn into a lizard. So you're like, huh? How did that happen? You know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. These are all reasonable possibilities.
So we find out Tom is talking about the disc.
Uh-huh.
And then Jake is like, Tom had it the whole time. But
In his fucking house all season.
But here's the problem. As the audience, we know that he did not have it the whole time. Because we've seen it in Visser 3's possession in the intervening episodes. So are they like
So they
Jake might think that, but why? I don't know why say it. It's not
They
true.
gave it to Tom, I guess. for
Yeah,
this last bit.
I mean, because he mentions this later, and I'll get mad about it then too.
Yeah, yeah.
not even mad, just just confused. There's no reason for Tom to have this, pretty much ever. I don't understand what he's doing with it. Anyway, he also said, and this is our first, I feel like, big. Whoa, feels like a big canon thing that never happened in the books. that Tom says he's up for a promotion to become a visser.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Because Tom promotion plot lines in the book, there's just his Yeerk was up for a promotion probably to somewhere in the high sub-visors in book 6, The Capture, before he infests Jake and dies. And then at the very end, he's doing power plays, in the end game. But this here does feel like it's a very like new type of story. Like this already
Yeah.
feels like they're starting to do their own thing, which I'm in favor of.
And remind me, is in the canon of the show, is this still the same Yeerk that's always been in Tom? Because it wasn't,
Yeah.
the capture wasn't his Yeerk.
So the capture was his Yeerk, but then that Yeerk died. So Tom through book 6 is one Yeerk, and Tom post book 6 is a different Yeerk.
But in the show,
In the show, it's always been one Yeerk, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Or
That's what
actually, no, wait a second. Didn't the Yeerk showed him Tom, but I don't think they made it explicit that it was definitely Tom's Yeerk.
It was
So I don't
vague,
know.
but I also, don't they still call him, is it Innis 226 or is that Chapman?
That's Chapman. They call him Innis 335 here, which I believe is correct for early Tom in the books. And I don't know if they called him that before the capture here without
Interesting.
checking.
I don't know then. Yeah, I don't know. That's for the super fans to figure out.
That is for the super fans. I mean, I'm just either
us.
way though. I guess Tom is getting up there, and he's going to be in charge of capturing the Andalite, so he's holding on to the disc for now, because he's gonna be the one to use the Andalites to unlock it, and he's entrusted with it or something. I don't know. I just think
Sure.
whatever.
It's a test.
Yeah, I do think it's funny, because I always go back to Elfangor was like, Tobias, guard this with your life, and then Jake is like, no, actually, I'll take it, Tobias, and then immediately fucking loses it, and then it's gone. And I just, every time I'm like, yeah, guard this with your life, you guys suck, you don't even care about this, and now we're back, yeah, it's been in your fucking house, Jake. Why are you so bad at this? You could have gotten it any time you wanted it.
Axe doesn't have fucking tracking tech where he can figure out where it is or something.
Right?
I don't know. Something. He's still not as dumb as Tom, who, as they leave his room, picks up his backpack without zipping it up and without looking inside and without noticing there's a huge fucking lizard sitting right inside of it. I didn't notice there's just a giant goddamn lizard, like it's like a fucking foot long lizard. It's not like a little gecko. It's like a big ass lizard, like sitting right at the mouth of the open backpack. He just grabs it, puts it on his back. Oh, let's go. Do.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you put the disc in there or something? It's crazy.
Right. I mean, I can imagine a world in which you are not paying attention to what you're doing and the lizard gets in there fast enough you don't touch it. But it's hard for me to imagine a world where you just pick up your open backpack and stick it on your back without even bothering to zip it up. But it would have been really hard to pull that off and get the lizard to go deep enough in that it was in any way plausible Tom didn't see it.
It is. It is crazy. Does it even pay off that he's in his back? Oh yeah, I guess it does.
Yeah.
It leads to a lot.
It's the primary Jake.
Oh
plot
yeah,
of the episode.
everything Jake does, right?
Is that he has to go with Tom. He's stuck in his backpack. Yeah.
Right. I didn't watch it yet. So anyway,
okay, that's fine. You're watching it as we speak, so it's okay.
Yeah. Let me get the intro.
Hooray! Introduction, opening theme song. Yeah, so there's, I guess we're back in the barn. They're talking about going to scout out the place. There's some, like, fun Animorphs doobity-doop go time music that I like. The
Doobity-doop.
classics.
Yeah. Sure. I don't know. They're doing barn stuff.
Yeah, I do like this scene where, like, they're all like, oh, we'll split up, we'll do this. And Tobias is like, I'll watch from outside. And Rachel kind of hangs back to be all like, don't worry, Tobias, you're not absolutely fucking worthless. We couldn't do it without you. I like that. I think that's a nice scene. Rachel knows Tobias is feeling bad and is trying to make him feel better. And the bird does this nice little head bob toward her. I like that.
It is still slightly awkward for me just to see a human actress have a face-to-face conversation with a bird. But, like they're not fully selling it for me, but
Mhm.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
The sentiment is there.
It's better listen, I have thought that Axe and Marco have both played well off of the bird, like, actually reasonably well off of the bird before, and by Rachel's standards, I think this is good.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Yeah, her
Um,
one personality trait that she likes to bias is on display.
that she likes boys sometimes.
Yeah. Come on, it's Tobias and Marco. It's just the
And
two.
Jake.
Okay, yes. And I mean, yes, Jake the most. And
Uh,
Cassie.
yeah, and Cassie, that's true, so it's not just boys. So, okay, York pool time.
We're
Um,
back.
we're back, they're doing preparations in the York pool under the school, and we get some Chapman time.
Under the school.
Now, said before, I love Chapman as the kind of like doormat, sad sack. Everyone's yelling at him, and he. I think that kind of pays off this episode, in a way that I really enjoy. And like right off the bat, he's trying to bark orders at some underling about setting stuff up, and the guy's like, actually, kind of Tom's in charge, and I'm supposed to listen. Chapman's like, I know Tom's in charge. This is what he wants. Like he's very snappy. He's not happy. Even his underlings are talking back to him. I'm really enjoying it at this point.
He's pissed.
He's mad.
He's
Yeah.
like he's raging in this scene.
He
In a
is. He
way we've never
is.
seen him rage before. We thought, I mean, he was absent for a series of episodes.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see them deciding to actually use him again in the finale.
Yeah, and use him for like the one thing I really like him for in this show.
Yeah, I mean, there's sort of a running theme of that though, because even when Tom comes back later, the subordinates are like making fun of Tom too.
Hmm.
So I
That's
don't
true.
know.
That's true.
I'm not really sure what if there's an intentional theme through line there or
Yeah.
what,
Well,
but
well, at the very least, Chapman's like his whole plot line with regards to Tom here, like piggybacks off of that, constantly being yelled at by superiors thing.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Now this guy who's kind of talking back to him here, this is the
Mm.
dark-haired controller who's in a lot of these scenes getting yelled at by different superiors and being like, "Oh, I'm just trying to do my job, jeez." Uh, and he's
This
the
is the
one
guy you liked.
I like this guy. I want to know. I don't know that he's great in the role, but I like the role. Uh, I want to know what his name is. I hope he's Scotty.
I think the other guy is Scotty. I'm
Mm.
sorry.
Is he
I think
controller 1 or 2 then? Maybe he's Tanya.
uh yeah, he could be Tanya. I don't know. How would I know? Um I mean, it makes more sense. They would be controllers because if it's more likely if you're in the school that you got to have like a human name
I
versus
mean, he's
just a
got to have a
guy.
human name anyway.
I mean, I'm sure it's like in universe he should, but I don't know that they bothered to give him one for the show.
Sure. I mean, I guess the question, can you tell? I'm not looking at it. Can you tell? Are there headshots on the IMDb page, or is that just all blank?
This would be okay for Scotty specifically.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, you talk about something and I'll look.
Okay. I mean, the other possibility, is that if you think, because this guy, I'm sure this guy's not been in the show before. So the other possibility is if, maybe the blonde guy who's with Tom and who's guarding the school, if he was one of the controllers who shows up and flirts with Jake sometimes at Tom's house, then maybe he's Scotty because he has a recurring role. But
Okay.
I don't know if he is.
I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
That might be in your favor. So there is no headshot for Scotty or Controller 1.
Okay.
However, Controller 2 has a picture on IMDb. And I mean, he's probably like 40 in this picture, but he does sort of resemble the guy who I think is the kid who's guarding the entryway to the school. So that may be Controller 2.
The problem is I do think that there are multiple generic-looking blonde white guy
Mm.
jock type Canadians. I think there's more than one, and so that might be controller 1 and 2, and, 30
You
years
know,
removed, I don't know that we can tell anymore.
it's likely that at the time they did not even know
Yeah.
which controller in this script. I am controller 1 and 2. I just say the lines. We don't know. We'll edit it. Don't worry. You will? No, but don't worry. It's fine.
It'll be that
That's
Sprogus guy doing it, but,
that fucking Sprogus has to deal with that shit. What a joke.
I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Nobody fucking cares. Anyway, he's fine. The Urk pool looks pretty good, I thought. I mean, we haven't been here in a while.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah, you're a hater of the Yerk pool. Not
It
me. I love the Yerk pool. I want to dive in.
I mean, it's fine here because my problem has always been that it doesn't look imposing enough, but it doesn't really need to in these shots. They're just kind of hanging around, so it's kind of like fine. Like,
Sure.
sure, it's got rocky walls. There's a Candrona.
Well, I
Um,
have one big complaint,
oh, okay.
which is the whole episode. No horks. Not a single hork.
Mm.
In especially like because it just makes sense just to have one standing guard. Like, why? Of course, we've now that you've introduced that they exist, you can't just say, they're on vacation this week. Like, what the fuck are they doing? They should be down there.
I don't think I'm ever gonna miss a Hork in this show. I'll just be like, "Yep, you're right. You shouldn't have put them in if that was what you were gonna do with them. They shouldn't be
No,
here, so it's fine."
the horks are. I want to see them. It adds something to it. It adds a
I
little
want
menace.
good Horks, but
The ones they have are good.
I don't.
They just don't do anything. I think they're cool.
Like move, for example.
Yeah, well, they move. Remember the time he walked into the biofilter?
You mean the like foot?
Yeah, with his foot and his other foot. Anyway,
Sometimes their head wobbles. We do find out that the biofilter is up and the morph sensors are up, so they're here. They got biofilters and morph sensors. We didn't forget that they exist.
that's right. Both.
Yeah, in the books they probably wouldn't even have them.
What's next? Hunter robots? Come on.
I know. Are they gonna even? They had those in the show, didn't they? Like a hunter
Hunter
robot.
robots? Did they have like one shot where there was a drone or something? I don't
I
know if
thought
they
they
did.
did. I might be imagining it.
You might just be thinking of the POV of a hork.
That's possible. I don't know what they do on this show.
I think there was a Roomba once.
We're really good at reviewing this.
Well,
We're really good at looking at it with our eyeballs and remembering it.
yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why we have the podcast, is so we can dump all this out of our brain, and then we don't have to have it in there
Never have
anymore.
to think about it again. Yeah, it's recorded now.
That's the luxury. It's like vomiting it out. It's gone from our system.
Cassie and Rachel, they're gonna show up early to scout things out. So they show up a little bit early and they're like, "Oh, we can't let you in yet." And they fucking sneak around the side of the building in the most suspicious way I've ever seen in my life. Like the guy's like, "Oh, you can't come in yet." And they're like, "Okay, we're just gonna go over here around this corner. I'm just gonna look back over my shoulder. No one's looking at me." Hoo-hoo. I like when I first saw this, I was just like, "No, get back here. No, I don't even care if I'm a yerk or not. I told you you can't go in. I know what you're doing. Come on."
Yeah, it is. It's pretty silly. It's also, it's just funny the level of security. Like, there is no reason for them to not let people leave other than their yerks. It's so, or not even leave, but that one's obvious. But even just come in. Like, the whole school is shut down. The gym's not ready yet. Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, that feels like more actual school rules where the school's like, "This is the time you let the students in. You're not supposed to be in here before that." Like, that doesn't feel like a yerk rule.
Yeah. But it just feels a little, I don't know. It's so like, well, you wouldn't get a kid to be the bouncer, first of all. You would have a teacher.
Yeah.
Which, the Yerks have teachers, so they could have done that, but it's fine.
It's fine.
He's a hall monitor. And then okay, so Tom meets up with Chapman.
Yes. I do like this staircase. The like because Chapman's coming up from the Yeerk pool, and we get to see the rock walls, and they like actually look like, nasty dank rock and not like weird red glowing fake shit. And I don't know, it looks ominous, like legitimately ominous. And I also like this locker door he walks out of, where he like pulls all the lockers back for a secret door.
Yeah. Graham Lynch might be the MVP of this show.
Could be.
He might be bringing his A game to this one. I mean, they know what they're doing now. It's the season finale. They've honed their craft.
Yeah, they better. I mean, they better bring it for this one, or they won't get a season 2.
Right. Tom loves cola.
Yeah, it looks like a diet cola because it's like silver.
Does it?
Well, it's silver.
It just says cola on it.
Yeah, but then it should be red. That's the convention.
But
that's how we do it in America.
It is partially red. It is red. There's red on it.
As like part of the logo. Are you telling me you see a silver can of cola and you go, oh, that's probably just normal? No, that's diet.
If it just says cola on it, then I just say that's cola.
I mean, I guess, but like, I would do a double take at that. I would be like, I assume that's diet. And then if you said, no, it's regular, I'd be like, what the fuck did they do that for? They're just trying to confuse people. Now, what is the diet can red? Am I going to go and accidentally grab diet by mistake?
Excuse me.
In a fucking red can?
Silver can could be Barks root beer.
I mean, but it's not root beer. It's cola.
Sure, but if you're not going to read the label, you're just going by color, then you don't know. It could be.
I mean, you see the general like logo. You're just not like paying close attention. I mean, do you pick up everything and read every single word on it?
Yes. Yeah.
That's weird. You don't just kind of recognize it by general form and say, okay, good enough.
No, I pay attention.
That's weird.
I'm very observant, like Sherlock Holmes.
I use my mental faculties for other things.
I think that can is at least 50% red. I would not say its predominant color is silver.
What? 50%? Are you serious?
100%. The label, at least. The label is at least 50% red. It's like striped. It's like red with silver stripes.
I need to pull up this fucking can. Where's this shot where he drinks?
There aren't that many great shots of it to BH.
That's part of the problem here.
Oh, and I just got to one good one, and then my video player started artifacting, so I can't see shit.
It's fine. I don't listen. Is it really worth this much of the podcast to do this?
Yeah, I mean, the more I like this because it's so pointless. I think it's funny that the listeners will be annoyed. Okay, that is some red ass shit. Now that I'm looking at it, it's fucking that label is very red, my dude.
I need him to fucking drink this thing. Where the hell does he drink his goddamn soda?
I'm gonna say something else. I think it might say diet on it. I'm not sure.
That's kind of the worst outcome for both of us.
I know it definitely says cola in big letters. It's impossible to make out the script in this with this resolution, but it does look like it might say diet on top of it.
Maybe we're just both terrible at this.
I mean, the words cola are white, and those also take up like tons of space. So there's a lot of white too.
Oh God. Oh no.
Our podcast is good. Now,
number one Animorphs podcast.
Rachel and Cassie are spying as mice, and actually, there's some extremely unnecessarily adorable shots of these two mice cuddling together in a shoe. They're so damn cute. These little baby mice huddled together. I want to just pick them up and give them little kisses. They're so cute.
I do love mice. They are cute. Mice and rats are great. Who doesn't love them?
Yeah,
it kind of sounds like maybe you're back on board the Rachel Cassie shipping train here.
Oh, well, maybe. I mean, I can get aboard pretty much any shipping train, to be honest.
That's fair. You're like one of those old hobos. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, that took me a minute. I see now. I was gonna say they are stupid.
Well, they can't hear very good, I guess. I don't know. I feel like rodents probably hear pretty good.
They still though it's not the hearing is not the problem. It's that they're too low to the ground and they're turned around. They don't see.
They can't see very good.
Tom says, Chapman, make yourself useful. Take this from me. And they're like, that must be the disc.
Yes. Now, of course, what he's actually saying, and I fucking love this, is he's like, here, Chapman, make yourself fucking useful and throw out my can for me. Try not to fuck this one up, you dumbass. Like, he
Right.
does actually just straight up say, like, try not to mess this up after handing him a can to throw out. He's so obnoxious. I love it.
I would have liked to see like a student walk in and then they have to reverse roles all of a sudden and Chapman is the guy, because I think that's funny. And then you could see Tom getting mad that Chapman was like disciplining him. I don't know.
It should just be a show about the Yeerk takeover, and it can be like a comedy.
No, you have like, yeah, it's like Veep or something, but for yeerks instead of
Yeerks, yeah.
yeah.
It sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, why are they not bugs again?
Yeah, I don't
whatever. Because they wanted to show mice. It's variety, I
Yeah,
guess.
they got cute mice. I like
They
looking at
are-
the mice. I like looking at the
they're
mice
cute.
more than I like looking at the lizard.
Oh yeah, me too. Although these mice don't like go anywhere. They just pretty much are sitting in one spot. But yeah, the Chapman Tom rivalry is really good. It all of this stuff adds a lot of color to the Yeerk world.
And it really does, like, you know, I loved Chapman being kind of put upon, and this feels like it's paying that off. It feels like they were aware of the fact that they did that and they wanted to do something with it. Because now Chapman's over here like, oh, I hope you fucking fail at this plan and everything goes terrible so that Visser 3 kills you.
Right.
You know, because it's fully possible and common that the show will do something I like, and it's just like, yeah, but that was a fluke. They weren't, I mean, it happened. They're not going to do it again. They don't care.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Right. It's nice. This is when Tom proves himself to be a bumbling fool. I mean, he presents himself in the manner of a bumbling fool.
I mean, you're not wrong.
He busts into the Yeerk pool, triggers the biofilter alarm, which they set to alarm, not disintegrate.
Yeah, on Chapman's orders.
That's lucky because Jake was in Tom's backpack. And so Tom's all flustered. He's like, turn that off. It's too loud. Blah, blah, blah. Jake sneaks out.
Yeah. I mean,
He's
he's like, first he's like, turn that off. I'm not a fucking Andalite. And then he's like, why isn't it set to kill? I told you to set it to kill. And they're like, I mean, it would have killed you, sir. And they're like, shut up. I don't care. Sir, you switched off all the security. I just turn it back on. He's very Visser 3 in the books. Right. Incompetent fools. Ah!
Right. Except he doesn't have enough power to just murder
Yeah, he can't
them
actually
there.
kill these guys.
But it is just funny they do this like boomer trying to use technology thing.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not the right button, sir. But also it does make him look kind of dumb that he's just like, oh, I guess it's not working, and not, oh, gee, what if there's somebody's. Like, they know they can turn into tiny animals. They could be anywhere. Like, how do you not assume they're on you?
It could be him. Like, why isn't he just like, oh, it went off when I went. I know I'm not an Andalite, but why aren't they like, sir, are you an Andalite? Yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
Well, they do have scanners. Maybe they scanned him, but yeah.
They do need, the writers do need some kind of excuse to get Jake in here through the biofilter and able to morph. And as far as excuses go, Yeerk leader is angry at his subordinates and incompetent enough to start yelling about how it went off on him and he's not an Andalite, and then accidentally switched it off temporarily so Jake could morph. That is plausible in the context of how the Yeerks have been generally portrayed both in this show and in the books. Like, I do buy it.
Wouldn't it make more sense for this to be Chapman then? Why is it just in this one scene that Tom is the butt of the joke? It feels off to me.
I mean, Tom does get very over the top and yelly throughout this episode in a way that I do like, but...
Well, he gets a lot more to do. He actually gets to like be someone with agency and like have a prominent role, which is great.
It is.
which is it's I'm glad that he does. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought this one scene felt out of place because it's not. I mean, maybe part 3 will pay it off, but it's not like later on these two controllers go, "I'm sick and tired of our dumb bosses being stupid." It's kind of just there, just so Jake can get away. It's like a plot thing, but not a.
Mhm.
I don't know. It feels a little contrived to me.
Yeah, I mean that's not wrong. I didn't mind it. I was like, as far as it goes, I it's campy and dumb. I like the controllers being yelled at. I like Tom being over the top and a little bit incompetent in a Visser 3 style way.
I think he should be
It's fine.
smart. I think he shouldn't be incompetent. I think Tom should be much smarter than
Yeah.
Chapman.
I mean, that's fair. That's not unreasonable.
He's
It's
flustered. He's got a lot of
yeah.
pressure on him because of the disc.
Right. Yeah. He doesn't have as much pressure yet. Like later on, if he makes some mistakes, maybe. But yeah, no, I don't. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Well, he's got a mission. He's got an overall
Yeah.
mission. I
I
mean,
like
whatever.
some camp though. That's fine.
Yeah. We have different things we're willing to forgive, and you'll forgive anything if it has people poking each other in the eyes and going yuck, yuck, yuck.
That's true. Yes. I do like that. One of my favorites.
Yeah, it was before recording, but I did call you a stooge earlier.
Yes, that's because you tried to do a impression of a stooge, and I didn't think it was
No,
very good.
I wasn't trying to do an impression of a stooge. I was just doing a voice, and you didn't understand what it was. And I said, well, it's kind of like a stooge-like guy.
And it really wasn't very like a stooge, but
It
that's okay.
was very like a stooge. But again, just to recap for the audience, you didn't get it because you yourself are, in fact, a stooge.
Yeah, well, people will just have to make their own decisions since we
They're
don't
going to
have
want
that
to
on
hear the
recording.
voice now. They're going to want to hear the voice.
Hmm. It's fine.
It was
Yeah,
it was
if
like I think I should just do a little bit.
yeah, we have time. We have time for this.
It was
It's
a
fine.
guy going like this, and he was like, "Oh, I oughta."
Yeah, that's not very. That's not really like.
The listeners will no. You don't need to comment. The listeners will decide.
Sure, sure.
So
Okay, we have time. It's gonna be okay.
yeah, we have plenty of time. We're
Yeah,
a third of the way through our show. 2 hours to go.
Marco shows up. I don't know, this hallway conversation where they're trying to figure out what they're gonna do about getting this disc off Chapman. This kind of feels a little fillery to me, but
Well, we're gonna see this throughout this whole episode, but
mhm,
the entire conceit of Tom has the disc. Oh, Chapman
mhm,
has the disc, but he doesn't really have the disc. And then later on, he does have the disc now, but he didn't before. It
yeah,
all feels like they just needed to fill time because, like, who cares?
mhm.
It's just so. There's no reason to have it carried on this long, where the
Yeah,
disc is.
yeah, that does feel very. I mean, honestly, in terms of contrivances, the idea that they thought Tom was giving him the
That
thing when it was the Coke
sucks.
can, and so we can just the whole episode we have to go be in the gym and Jake's in the what blah blah blah. Yeah, it is kind of dumb. Um, like
Yeah,
I don't mind the idea of I want a payoff of having some goofy scenes in the gym, and that does to some degree pay off, but like every time I'm not saying, "Oh, I like Axe's antics" or whatever, I am thinking, "Why are we here?"
hmm yeah.
Right? Like
It,
you gotta keep those keys jingling, or I'm getting pissed.
yeah, it is just because if one person had the disc, they'd just get it and it would be over. They have to, which is not on the face of it a terrible thing for there to be sort of a like what's that fucking like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels or
Mhm.
is that the movie or Snatch? Snatch is maybe the movie. They're kind of the same movie, but where it's like there's a MacGuffin and. Oh, who has the MacGuffin? One guy has it.
Mhm.
This guy has it. Oh, we got to chase after it. But they just don't do it in an exciting way. It's just this person has it. I don't even
Yeah.
know if they ever find out they were wrong at any point. It's just like
Yeah.
it just moves around aimlessly.
Yeah, it's an excuse to put the characters in location, right? Like Cassie, Axe, Marco, Rachel all have to be in the gym, and Tobias has to be outside, and Jake has to be down in the Yerk pool. That's where they need to be for the story, so that's how we put him there.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of that'll be going on. But hey, it's the disc.
It is the disc. We think about the disc now. That's pretty fun.
That's why it's the finale.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. Okay. So like some Jake sneaking around. Tom talking to Visser 3, Victor Trent. I love how big his face is. Because he calls him up on a screen, and it's like, for whatever reason, that this communication thing, Visser. I guess it just looks like a TV.
Yeah,
Visser.
it looks like a CRT shitty
Yeah.
TV.
Visser 3's face is like really zoomed in. He's standing way too close to the camera, and he's very beautiful, and I love him.
Not in Andalite form, of course, because
No,
well, I'm
no, of
sure he
course
must
not.
be at a business meeting
Right,
as Victor Trent.
right.
Before he comes up, there's just strings of numbers like binary code that just runs on the screen.
Right.
Sure.
Some weirdo construct. Tom gives a whole spiel that is for the audience and not Visser 3, where he's like, "We've discovered something very important. It's all the stuff you said you discovered about it over the course of these episodes." And I'm just sitting here like, if I were Visser 3, I'd probably just kill this guy right now. Like, what are you wasting my time? Fuck off. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
well,
know.
it's very yeah, he sums up their progress with the disc.
Hmm.
But again, it makes no sense because what progress is Tom making with this disc that the yeerks scientists weren't making this entire season?
Yes,
Why is Tom the final piece of
yeah.
this puzzle?
And he didn't. I guess he says one thing. He says like the specific Andalite it's keyed to is related to Elfangor, which sure, I
Right.
guess. But like, he opens by saying, "Ah, we've discovered that it's keyed to an Andalite." Yeah, he knows.
We knew.
We knew. And we knew because of multiple scenes, all of which Visser 3 was present in.
Right. But now we know it's an Elfangor, as Visser 3 says, someone from the clan
Yeah.
Elfangor.
The clan Elfangor. I guess that's what they call them.
That's what they decided. Yeah, that they're aliens. That's probably how they named themselves.
Yeah,
Maybe
sure.
it's like Korea. The last name is first.
Yeah, that makes
know?
sense. In Andalite culture, there is no last name. Like they don't.
Yeah, that's true. That's confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Kay Applegate said that she did that on purpose. That she made him sometimes share names, but like not have it have anything to do with. Because she's like that.
Whatever, Kay Applegate. That's whatever makes you happy. I did notice in the scene. I thought she was only in episode 2, but I did notice right before this. You do see Anne in the hallway pass by Jake.
Yes, Anne is here. You wouldn't know she's Anne yet, but this is her first appearance.
It's
fan
just a
favorite
nameless
Anne.
Girl who says nothing.
For all of you who big Anne heads from the books, you're watching this show. When's Anne gonna show up? This is her first appearance.
Well, I believe they refer to themselves as fans.
Oh shit! I might have to become a fan now.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not?
I wonder if we'll ever see Anne again.
Yeah, Visser 3 also in this scene says he made a promise to kill all the members of Elfangor's family.
I thought he said he was going to infest them, but sure, why not?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's kill, but either way, he says he made a promise. Like, to whom? to yourself?
Yeah, that's his.
For what?
Is that New Year's resolution?
Are we supposed to be alluding to the Andalite Chronicles?
I mean, we might be given some things that are going to happen.
Yeah, right. I mean, we know that this thing is called the Harak disc.
Yeah.
So we've pretty much assumed at this point, the writers are aware of that book.
Yes.
I mean, that was one of my theories, that this might be the Andalite Chronicles.
Yeah, it still could be. There's a part 3.
That's right. So I don't know what I was saying that matters, but it doesn't matter anymore. I mean, next we get a real big. Now it's really going nuts.
Yeah, because now we're about to go fucking nuts. Like, you thought it was crazy that we're actually coming back to the disc and that Tom might get promoted and he's going to be an actual character. You thought that was crazy. Well,
you ain't seen nothing yet, my friends.
Do you want to say it?
No, that's your job.
Okay. So they announce here that they have bred? I don't know. A new breed of yeerk that can survive without the Kandrona. A new brood, in fact, I think they say.
Wow. Do they say
Holy
that?
shit. Yeah, Visser 3 says, "We're very proud of this brood."
I think he means like they brewed some fresh coffee.
We brewed up these yeerks. So this
Come
is
have a K-cup.
insane. Like,
This
we're
is- I
already
mean,
doing the
yeah.
disc thing, the Tom thing, the trap them thing, and we're gonna drop a fucking. I mean, this is just. Is this the season 2 arc plot? What is this?
Yeah, this is something that could have been, I mean, an entire season.
Yeah,
But that's not. I mean, that's par for the course for Animorphs that you have some.
it's not
Crazy
par for the course
fucking
for the
thing.
show, though.
No, it's not par for the course for the show. That's for sure. I mean, there's just so many ideas here. It's just aspects of this to contemplate. So the yeerk. It seems like they're implying in the universe of the show that yeerks are created rather than born, or that they're kind of like the Arn, that they just have genetic engineers making their own like clones of yeerk DNA into new species, I guess. Probably makes more sense, but we don't really know. As far as the show has told us, we don't have any idea how yeerks operate or how they reproduce.
I have to assume that they don't do the 3 yeerks come together and die into a bunch of grubs thing, probably, but maybe that's just wrong. Like, how did they do this? I don't know. There's no answer. I have no idea how to make heads or tails of this. How yeerk is made?
How is yeerky formed?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild, and then just the idea of, because this is not even outside the realm of something that K. Applegate could have done in the books. It's not like it's not crazier than anything in the books by any means.
Yeah,
but it would really change the game. The idea of a yeerk who doesn't need a Kandrona, I think it's a pretty great idea to introduce. Whether or not it actually happens or progresses in season 2 or what, that's kind of an awesome thing to consider for the plotline of Animorphs, I think.
Yeah, because every time they brought this up in the books, it was always, you have to be a weirdo cannibal, which they would have done, but, or at least Visser 3 would have done, but wouldn't have been sustainable for the yeerks as a whole. Or it's, you have to do the weird oatmeal thing that fucks you up. The idea that there's just yeerks that can survive off the host and do not need Kandrona is not something we ever did, but we could have. And you could do something similar with this plotline the way that you do, the show's not going to, but the way that you do with morphing, where, obviously this sounds terrible, right? The yeerks, they don't have their weakness anymore. We can't attack the Kandrona to stop them, but this also strengthens the yeerk resistance movement, because the yeerk resistance movement is entirely dependent on the yeerk empire to eat, right? Like, they have to be undercover. They have to be pretending to be regular yeerks, because otherwise they're going to starve to death and die. But if they don't need Kandrona, then they can fully form and operate resistance movements to the empire on their own autonomously, and so that can get you into these like ethical gray areas with Cassie, and obviously this is just like what they did in Animorphs with the box. There's probably a million other directions you could go, but immediately my mind jumps there, and it's like, this is a cool idea. There's so much potential to do so many things here.
Yeah, but it does seem like in the show, it's not like you can get this ability. At least they make it sound like only this new breed can do it.
But that doesn't mean that you couldn't,
later on maybe.
Breed. I mean, to be fair, the show hasn't really grappled with the idea that there might be good yeerks either, and I don't really think they will.
Well, Perkins was good. No, wait, he was a person.
Yeah.
I was confused that whole episode. Um, yeah. And then there's also like some of the Yeerks seem to have disdain for the new Yeerks. So that could be a whole interesting angle of it, that
Mhm.
there's sort of this divide, that they're jealous, they're bitter. Oh, Visser 3 loves these new fucking Yeerks because they're so special. Oh, sorry, I need Kanjarona rays.
Yeah.
Uh, or even Visser 3 could be like, I mean, what are you doing? Aren't you maybe making yourself obsolete
Mhm.
by creating these? I don't know. There's a lot of cool aspects there. Is this the first real original idea worth discussing the show has introduced? I think it is.
It probably is, yeah. Well, don't forget the disc. There was a disc. And it's just a
Right.
Hirac disc, we found out, but, it is a disc.
Like I
It's
said, the
there.
first real original idea worth discussing. I mean, to have something like a concept like this that
Yeah.
isn't predicated on oh, how is it different from the book or whatever. Like, we could actually theorize about this. That's wildly impressive for the bar of this show.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I was happy they were doing this. It's like it raises a bunch of questions, but honestly, the biggest question it raises for me is this ever going to matter outside of this three-parter? Because if the answer to that is yes, that's like really cool and a great sign, right? Because it means that they're gonna start doing their own thing and actually doing stuff. Which could be
Mm.
really cool, and I would love to see that in season 2. I would love to see lots of new ideas in season 2.
If
We
the
don't have a
answer
lot
is
of episodes for
no,
it, but
yeah, I would be okay with no. Oh, I mean, that's the thing. There's only 5
yeah,
episodes after part 3, so it's like
yeah.
it's a kind of a moot point. But if part 3 like resolved it in a cool way, I would also be fine with
Mhm,
that. Um, yeah, but I think that the biggest issue right now, or one of the things that's going to hurt the show, is the fact that there's a year before season 2,
mhm,
because I think the reason this is good is because they were forced to actually come up with new ideas.
mhm.
And by the time season 2 comes out, they're going to have another year of books to leech off of. And so they're just going to fall back on that and not do anything cool again. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. What books do you get? You get Tobias learns about his parents from Visser 3 and Morph. You cut the Hork-Bajir plotline from that, obviously. There's the Helmacron Zep, which of course they're going to include. I don't think they're going
You,
to
s-
do Go to the Arctic. I don't think they're going to do Iskrit. I don't think they're going to do Drode. Um,
hmm. I mean, we
so
still have also David and
true.
Chi.
We did, yes, we know they're going to do
We
Chi.
know there's a
They can do
Chi.
David. They unfortunately might do the free will Ray. They turn into cows in a slaughterhouse. That's very in line with what they
I don't
might do
know.
here.
The more you say them out loud, the more I'm like, no, I don't think they can really do any of those. So maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think they're doing. I mean, maybe they'll do book 31 with Jake and Tom needs to kill his dad. I don't know.
Oh, sure. Wait, that's not the one where they go to the cabin. That's later.
Yeah.
That is the cabin one?
Or they go to Grandpa G's old
Oh,
house on
yeah,
the
yeah.
lake.
Oh, yeah, they could easily do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
All right. Anyway.
and I guess they only need, since we know they're going to do Eric and they only have 6 episodes. I mean,
And one of them is a 3-parter.
right.
So there's really only like 3 unique plot lines in season 2.
Yeah. All right. So
3 or
so this is
4.
very doable to find 3 more plot lines and not have to do anything new.
Yeah, it's extremely easy. And also
Well,
pretty likely these Yeerks aren't going to show up again. I mean, maybe, but probably not.
unfortunate.
Well, other than maybe part 3.
We
Okay.
get to see them too. Like
We
right
get to
around
see
here.
them, and they're in this crazy they're in like people-sized pods, all cocooned up, like.
Very body snatchers vibes.
Yes. If I almost for a second we kind of see them later. I almost thought like, are these giant Yeerks, or do they just come out with hosts attached or something? Like, what is this?
Yeah, there's these
But I
huge, like, hanging spider web type bags filled with yeerks, and they're all making these strange, like, whale noises or whatever. Like you go into the
yeah.
room and it's like, woo, or whatever. It's very
Sounds a lot like
strange.
my room.
Slug whales.
It's not, it's a little alien-esque as well. It's got those vibes. The code he uses to enter the door, which I'm pretty sure he types in a microwave, by the way, is 1521. I don't know if there's any significance to that, but that's the code. That's the 4-digit code separating the, like, who, in case an andalite gets in, I guess. Are there, like, the yeerks, the yeerks don't want to go in there unless they're supposed to. Who's that blocking out?
If
Whatever.
you if you put it in a mirror and then read it backwards, it's the same number.
Oh shit! It is. I guess it is.
So that's the significance.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, right? I also like, as Tom's walking through this thing, he's really hamming it up, right? He's like, "Oh yes, soon you will be ready, New Yeerks. I still need the Kandrona, but you." It's very good. It's enjoyable to me.
Oh, hold on. I think I figured it out. I'm sorry. I'm sure you were saying something
Yeah,
interesting.
no,
The
I'm
listeners liked
interested.
it. In the year
Oh
1521,
God.
it was the year Martin Luther was excommunicated from the Catholic Church.
Right.
It was, and
Obviously.
also same year he was summoned by Emperor Charles V to the Diet of Worms.
Yep. Oh yeah, you're right.
Worms.
I did have to memorize all that shit in high school. All of this sounds like, yeah, I did know that, didn't I?
Okay, because I have Google's AI is not actually explaining to me what the fuck Diet of Worms is. I have no idea what that is, so I did not have to memorize that. No clue.
Yeah,
the
that's right.
fuck
He
that
had to
means.
eat worms. Was what it was.
Damn.
But no, that makes sense. That's why,
Yeah,
because they're
it's a
like
reference.
worms, right?
Right. That's a cute little reference. Mr. 3 was looking up history.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, I get it because of worms and slugs. No, I'm glad we've solved that mystery.
Let's get to the pep rally. Is it a pep rally or just a basketball game?
I think it's a basketball game, I think. Yeah, it's a basketball game. And there might be a pep rally too with the game. I should note, we're at the first commercial break of the first episode of the two-parter.
We're almost done.
This is the best podcast in the entire world.
We had a lot to do. Well, we were excited. We had one thing we actually wanted to talk about for the first time in a dozen episodes.
Yeah, it was Martin Luther and the Diet of Worms.
That's right. So I just gotta say, this basketball game looks like it sucks ass.
I know. Oh my God. I have a lot of thoughts. These bleachers suck. Like, this is the kind of shit you pull out for gym class for the losers who don't want to participate. Like, you wouldn't bring in like a crowd on these bleachers. This crowd is tiny. Are these the only people at this school? These cheerleaders suck. They're terrible. She's like fucking just doing the Macarena in this one scene. It sucks. The basketball players are just like constantly dunking the ball. It feels like pregame practice, except then they say like, oh, it's the second half or something. So no, it's definitely not that. This game sucks. Everything about this rally sucks.
Now, is this because in Canada they only care about hockey, so their schools don't have like equipped gyms for basketball games because nobody gives a shit?
That could be. They don't actually know how basketball works.
There are 2 sets of bleachers, each with 3 rows, just 3. It's not like not like the classic, the big things that unfold from the wall, like in The Faculty when they run behind it. It's not like that. It's like 3 shitty metal benches in a row. There's maybe 20 kids in attendance at this game. I mean, if they're hoping to get a big turnout for controllers, they did not get what they wanted, because there's standing room capacity of this gym is like 9 people. It's pathetic.
It sucks. I mean, this was just me looking at it and being like, maybe there just aren't. This looks normal because there aren't people in Canada. Like, to them, they're like, this is a big school. They got, like, this is probably like, 5 towns worth of population here. This is Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Their Axe steals some drinks, which is amusing.
Yes, he doesn't know he has to pay for them. I like that.
Whoopee whoopee, he says.
Uh,
um yeah. I was going to talk more about the drinks.
yeah, go for it. Yeah, talk more about the drinks, I guess.
Well, the solo cups are yellow. I don't know if that's also a Canadian thing. I thought that was strange.
I think that is a Canadian thing. I think red Solo cups are actually like an American thing, and like people outside of America think that it's just a weird trope that nobody actually does, and they don't realize that that's how it is.
There's a strange thing that occurs here that I did not
Yeah.
really understand.
I do have a note here about that I can't read on the podcast because it's a little bit too offensive, but I did have
I'll
the
say it.
question as to why Axe is trying to date rape Rachel.
Wait a minute. That's the part you can say?
Yeah, I can't say the thing I wrote, but
Huh. Okay. Yeah. So Axe brings 2 drinks and he goes, these are for Rachel and Cassie. Rachel, this one's yours specifically. Rachel, this one's for you. And then they walk away. Cassie and Rachel look at each other and swap drinks. What am I supposed to take away from this?
Yeah, right? What is this?
What does this mean? Axe, the joke ostensibly is, oh, something is weird with that one. Don't worry, Rachel. Axe doesn't know about drinks, so I'll drink that one. But what did he do to it, and why would he specifically want Rachel to drink it?
And why is Cassie okay drinking it?
Right, right.
What is any of this?
There's no explanation for this I can think of that makes sense. Even if you go with the most foul, upsetting explanation, then it doesn't make sense why Cassie would be like, "Oh, cool, I'll do it."
Yeah.
What the fuck's happening here?
And I mean, I have no, like, what would he have done? I really have no clue.
Does he is it like, oh, he thinks that, like he thought food coloring was a drink or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. He put cigarette butts in this one. I'll drink it.
He drank out of Cassie's one, but he respects Rachel too much for it.
Right.
But Rachel's kind of into it, and she wants that Axe spit.
You mean Cassie?
No. Like he gives the spit to Cassie, and she swaps it to Rachel. Is what I'm saying.
Oh,
I'm reversing the whole.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't. It is one of the weirdest things the show has ever done.
Yeah, it's very like uncomfortable feeling, but in a way that like you just like you can't even say how it's like I can say all of these things that would make it uncomfortable, but none of them actually make any sense. So like it's just like what is happening in this? I don't know what to make of it.
Is Rachel a germaphobe? Is that or Cassie or yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. We listeners, please, if you can do one thing for us. Yeah. Who cares about what's on this disc? I need to know what's in these drinks.
Yeah. Cuz like imagine that I came up to you and someone else and I like brought drinks and I was like, "Jonathan, this one's for you specifically." You would not be like, "Oh, you can drink that one." You'd be like, "What'd you do to this? I'm pouring this out and getting my own drink. What's wrong with you?"
Yeah, right.
Like what it doesn't none of it I don't get it. I don't like why could he have wanted Rachel to drink that one? Like even like ignoring the switch. What could possibly have he been like he thought he got Rachel's favorite flavor or something?
Yeah, I guess.
Like
it's not like Axe has some special friendship with Rachel where he would know, oh, she loves this.
Yeah.
Also, it's pretty obvious from looking that there's just water in both of them. So I don't also that like they have to pay for their cups of water. I guess it's a fundraiser.
Yeah, I mean my first thought was, why does he have to pay for it? And my second thought was, oh, he probably did just like steal from the bake sale. And like, to be fair, the person there probably was like, I'm not going to say anything. And Mark is like, yeah, but dude, what are you doing?
Like, also it is sort of wrong that Axe, he shouldn't have been able to get away from that table without stuffing his mouth full of donuts or something.
That's
Like,
true, yeah.
he shouldn't have brought back drinks. They should have been like, where's Axe? And then they just see someone screaming on the other side of the room. He won't stop. He won't stop.
Yeah. I mean, even the intro, Axe shows up with 2 cups, and Marco's like, why do you have 2 cups? And he's like, oh, this was all I could carry. This is for Cassie and Rachel. And I got kind of blindsided because I thought he
weird.
was going to say, these are for me. Like,
Right.
no, I didn't bring one for you. These are both for me.
But
But
why
no,
is
that's
he
not what he
trying to
did.
be? Is he being chivalrous? Like, why is he specifically, these are for the girls, not you, Marco?
Yeah, what?
Nothing
know.
about this makes sense.
You know what they should have done? He should have showed up here with just like chocolate smeared all over his mouth. Like it's one of those implication jokes. They don't show him doing it or say, but he was doing it.
He always should. That should just be part of his character, like Chocolate Boy on Hey Arnold.
I feel like they do that sometimes in the books where they'll just be like, we showed up at the mall and Axe is there. He's got nacho sauce all over his face.
Sure.
Like, why don't
sure.
they do that?
He just burped up a Taco Bell sauce packet.
It's kind of gross sounding.
That would be funny if in an Animorphs cartoon, they just made Axe like Rick from Rick and Morty. He's just constantly belching up just random bits of food. All right.
That sounds really good.
Marco, we gotta go. Marco. Okay. People like it.
I love it. You're stuck with us. This is going to be our longest episode ever, and this is all you're getting.
They play some more basketball. I think I need to mention that somewhere in here, presumably, is Juan and or Terry. They gotta be in here.
I didn't even think of that somehow, but yes, they're basketball players. We know that.
Yeah. If there's a big game, they are in that game.
Right. Yeah, 100%. Oh, I might have to go through this like frame by frame looking for them. There's so many basketball players it could be,
Yeah. We'll find them.
We'll find
Let's
them.
just do
We'll
it now.
find them, don't worry.
Let's pause right now. Not the show. Let's just take 10 minutes live.
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem is
I
we
think
might do it. Yeah, what are you saying?
I don't know. Jake is like sneaking around. I don't know if there's anything. Is there anything we need to say about this part?
Yeah, I mean, Jake is sneaking around. There's more fucking whale noises. There's more of the game. Oh, Axe tries to spill a drink or I guess spit on Chapman or some shit. I don't know exactly what he does here so he can like check his jacket. But then he's like, oh, he doesn't have the disc.
There's a part earlier where I forget which one of the Animorphs says it, but they're like, oh, I could pretend to spill something on him, but that would be too obvious or something. Don't they say that?
Yeah, Marco's like trying to come up with all these plans, and everything Axe does here, Marco came up with, and Rachel shoots down all of them as being too obvious, and Axe is not in that scene.
And so here, after they vetoed that idea, now they just do it anyway?
Well, Axe wasn't there, so presumably he also had that idea, but it wasn't vetoed, but he wasn't there to hear it? It's very strange.
But from a writing standpoint, like, why would you set that up and say, we won't do that, and then do it? And it's not like they go, Axe, we already decided we didn't want to do that. They just treat it like this is a one-off thing that happened also.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Completely bizarre. But I mean, this exchange, I guess it's funny. It's also very uncomfortable of Axe assaulting Chapman and just wrestling his jacket off of him.
Yeah, no, it's not. I like the face Axe makes when he first comes face to face with Chapman, but the rest of it is just, it's awkward and weird and not
so
great.
Weird.
Yeah.
If there was no sound in the background, this would be like the strangest scene to observe. I'm surprised there even is sound. You know what? Good sound design in these episodes. I didn't notice anything at least that stood out to me as being weird. So maybe they did a good job.
Other than the whales I keep talking about. I like the whales.
I got no problem with the whales. But Chapman then also doesn't go, oh, that's really suspicious. he doesn't give a shit that this kid did this to him, who he
Yeah.
doesn't even know, by the way. It's not a kid that goes to this school.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking right now, okay, last episode, the whole point, what you were setting up was that you know the Andalites are using the school's cover, and now this really weird kid comes up and starts assaulting you. You don't know who he is. He's really fucking weird, and you're not like, is that so is he gonna get suspicious? Is Marco blowing his cover by being like, oh, he's my friend from No, it just doesn't matter. It
It's
has
just a
nothing to do with
scene.
anything. Who cares?
You could rip that scene from the episode, it changes nothing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, and
whatever.
it does mean that, like, and this is one of the ways that I was wrong. Like, I was like, okay, they're going to do a whole thing in the school to trap the Andalites. Okay, that was correct. But in my head, I'm thinking it's because they're now suspicious that the Andalites are using the school, and they are not.
Right,
Like, they are
right.
not suspicious at all.
Right.
That is completely forgotten about.
Yeah. It's funny how they arrived at it from a different point. Okay. Now Jake is down here. Now he also is seeing the yeerk pods. I did think for a second, oh, are they about to fast forward? Is Jake about to genocide these yeerks? He's just gonna like light them all on fire or something? Because that would be cool. He didn't
So
do
he
it.
does. I mean, he doesn't.
He didn't do it.
Like kill all of them, but he does kill some yeerks here, right?
Is this when he slices it? Yeah, he just like cuts one open to see what's inside.
Yeah, he like cuts open the bag and or the whatever the cocoon thing, and some yeerks kind of splot out onto the ground.
Yeah, well, and then they look very orange. They do look different from the yeerks we've seen, I think, don't they?
Yeah, are they orange yeerks or are they just in orange goop? I can't
Yeah,
tell.
I don't know. That's a good question. It's weird. Also, clearly it seems that there's just hundreds of yeerks in each one of these cocoons.
Yeah. Yeah.
The physiology of these things makes no sense. I don't know how
Yeah,
did they
I don't
make
know.
them. I'm very curious the logistics, but who knows? Tom in this around here also gets to do some pretty fun villain stuff. He's like he really gets to go out there with his arms up and give some bad guy words of support to his fellow bad guys about like, yeah, we're gonna kill all these humans. We're the yeerks. We're the best, and that kind of shit.
Ah ha 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 ha.
Which
Yeah, that kind of thing.
that was pretty good.
Fucking yeah, and the yeerks here, the yeerks here in the cocoons, when Jake cuts it open, they start like screaming,
Yeah,
and Jake's like, "Oh God, it's so loud" or something. I don't know. And Tom's like, "Hear the warrior cry."
that's
Now
what it is.
I don't think of yeerks in their natural bodies as making any sense. I think that's why I was so fixated on the whale noises. But like here, it's like, no,
Hmm.
that's not just like ambiance, right? Like that. No, they scream.
Yeah,
That's weird to me.
yeah. I guess we don't really know in the books. Do they ever expressly like we obviously they can't talk, but they might
Yeah,
make
they like
noises.
I don't know. Like they communicate in the books by like interfacing their palps, but I don't know. Can they make noise
Sure, they
too?
might just
I
screech. They
guess.
might just do unintelligible screeches.
Yeah. Who knows? Who
Well, clearly
knows?
these new yeerks do. I mean, these are just new yeerks.
Mm, right. The
Reminds
new
me of my
Yeerks.
song. Remember that song?
Which song?
New York. Remember when I used to do
Mm,
songs? How much fun that was?
that was a lot of fun.
We
I
loved
miss
that.
those days.
Yeah. I mean, this week we had a special guest. That was sort of the song of the week.
Yeah, that's kind of like a song in a way.
Yeah. Um anyway, they are screaming, which means that they have to go check on them. I wonder if Tom knows that they're screaming in pain and it's like a cover story. He's like just trying to make everyone feel good about it. He's like, "Oh, that's just their warrior cry. Don't worry about that, everybody. Yeah, we're awesome."
Don't worry. Yeah.
I kind of like that.
No, these fucking guys, they go in to check on him, and they do say, like, I don't know if it's quite yet, but they're saying, like, oh, it's probably the heat. These Yeerks don't like heat. And one of them says, like, I don't know what's so special about these new Yeerks. They're probably going to get killed off by this whole global warming thing.
That's right. That is what it says. He says they won't
Mhm.
survive this quote, this whole global warming thing. Incredible line.
Really good. I love it.
I mean, this is we're pre what the fuck is it called? Al Gore's movie, Inconvenient
Mhm.
Truth.
Yeah.
So
We're
global
like
warming is
8 years previous or something. No, less than that, but
yeah,
maybe 5.
yeah, what was that? 2003 or 4 maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, mid-aughts.
Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, but it's definitely like global warming at this point is just oh, that's a cute thing in your science books. Like no one gives any kind of a shit about that.
Yeah, it's like, "Oh, that's a bad environmental thing." It's like
It's like
pollution
the
or the
ozone
ozone
layer.
layer.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, it was it's like a lot of those things we
It's for
could make better, and then this one we sure didn't.
isn't it fun, kids? Bill Nye talks about that and then we don't do anything about it. Good night.
Mhm. Mhm.
It is very funny though. I mean, I wonder if they would, because I feel like now you wouldn't make that joke because it's too serious
Yeah.
on a kids show.
Yeah, yeah. No, 100%, I don't think you would.
It really is like genuinely pretty funny. It's a great thing for a yerk to say. And the fact that they're aware of that, they're like, but they don't
Yeah.
really understand it. They're just like, I don't know. I heard about this fucking thing with this planet. It sucks. We'll be gone by then, probably, right? We'll leave.
Yeah, hopefully.
Who
We'll
cares?
just leave.
It's not our problem. Um, it's a great line. During this, meanwhile, Jake is hiding from them underneath the sewer grate. Gee,
Yes.
if only Jake had the power to say morph.
Now,
He could get
he does
away.
know that there's a morph sensor.
Does
Or
he?
maybe he doesn't know that. Well, he says
But he was
the
a lizard
security's turned
before.
off.
He was morphed earlier. And he'll
Right,
morph
but
again later.
he waits. Well, no, I guess this doesn't make sense with stuff that happens in part 2, but he waits to morph until Tom turns off the security system. He's like, "Now's my chance."
I think that
So
just
like
means now's his
I was
chance
like
to
maybe
get
he
away. I don't think it's his chance to
No, cuz I
morph.
think at the beginning of next episode he does say like I can't morph or
Well, hold on.
something.
Does the morph sensor work that it senses people in morph or the act of morphing?
I don't know. I don't think they explain it.
Okay. I don't know. If that's the case, it justifies it. But he never says that. He's just down there as a human going, "Duh, don't look at me." Duh. Whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Well, we'll see. I'll get to whatever note I wrote about that.
I'll give him
And we'll
half
see
credit.
if he says it, but he doesn't say it here, and we don't know. Um, Either way, they don't morph enough in this show.
They sure don't for a show called Animorphs. Tom's Yerk needs a Kandrona refresh. He needs to be regenerated.
Yeah, and he actually says here, "I need a good meal from the Kandrona." It's like the
Hmm.
only time they recognize that it might be food. Because earlier he's saying like, "I still need my regeneration." I don't know what I'm supposed to make of any of that.
Nobody knows. Nobody cares.
Hmm.
And so,
Hmm.
meanwhile, they put Tom in a laser jail because there's no Horks to guard him. And
Right, sure. I
I
mean,
miss
you
them.
would still put him in the laser jail. You just have Horks posted outside and not some dude.
Yeah. Are they laser jails in the books or just jails? Do they have
I think they're
lasers?
just cages. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think they're laser jails.
Also, this must be a light day. Isn't this the main Yerk pool for the entire town? Like, he's the only guy in there.
I've said before, it's not expansive enough.
But even still, there should be more than 4 people. Like, but when we've seen it before, there's always at least been like a lineup of people at the pool. He's the
Yeah.
only guy there.
Well, they got to clear it out because they're gonna bring
That's
everybody
what
in.
it is. Okay.
Yeah.
They're at pool
Yeah.
B on the other side. Okay.
I think it kind of there's a bit later that's gonna happen that might play into that idea. Um, how about this? How about this? Chapman is being a little bit of a scamp here
Catman being
because
a dumbass, but go on.
well, Tom is Tom's regenerating, so Chapman kind of sneaks the disc out of his backpack and he goes to hide it out on a windowsill because he wants Tom to get fucked.
But what is this? A windowsill on the outside of a building is the
Right.
worst hiding spot for anything in the history of hiding spots.
It's like on the second floor. Nobody's going to walk by and pick it up.
Chapman is a dumb piece of shit. This is the dumbest fucking thing. Let me just put it in this precarious ledge on the second story of an outdoor building. What the?
Yeah, I mean, especially
Why?
it would be one thing if he just didn't give a shit and wanted it to get lost. In which case, maybe he should just throw it out the window. I don't know, but like, you know, because if that was his goal, like Tom is gonna not have it, it's gone. Fuck it, maybe. Although I still don't know why you don't just like throw it in the trash or something.
Or just hide it
But that's not his
anywhere.
plan.
Under a piece of furniture, in a locker. There's in a desk drawer that has a lock. There's a million places. You're the principal
right.
of the school. There's so many places to hide it.
Yeah.
It's a terrible place. You also
Well, again,
know there are Andalites who can turn into
Yeah.
birds.
Yes. No, like Tobias is just going to grab this disc off the window. So, like I said, if he was just trying to make sure Tom lost it and so he looked bad, it would be one thing to be like, he literally threw it out the window and doesn't give a shit, right? Whatever happens, Tom will look bad.
Sure.
But after Tobias takes it, he does come back and he's like, oh shit, I fucked up. Oh shit, it's not here. Right? So clearly his intention was to go to Visser 3 like, stupid Tom dropped it, but fortunately your loyal good principal Chapman was paying attention. No, you're right. Like,
in which case, why not
it's
also
a terrible hiding place.
You could just keep it in your jacket too. Like you don't have to put it down
Mhm.
anywhere at all. If that's your plan.
Yeah, that's true. Because even if you get caught with it, you say, "Yeah, that's the whole. You dropped it on the fucking floor.
Right.
I was going to bring it back. And I wasn't about to let you take credit after you made such a big mistake."
And this is what again, this just goes back to my whole thing with this just ridiculous. Oh,
Mhm.
Chapman has it. No, he actually doesn't though. Tom has it. Oh, now Chapman
Mhm.
does have it. Except Chapman puts it down so he doesn't have it. But then we found it anyway. So just all of it is just so needlessly complicated. Whatever. Okay. I think we should
Yeah,
just.
I mean, the fact that Chapman takes it is good. I like that.
Sure.
I think that's good.
Sure. I just couldn't get over how fucking dumb he is.
Yes. I mean, listen, before we do the big thing that's about to
Okay.
happen, there's one line I want to go over, which is,
We have a timer
you
here.
know, they're still talking about what they're going to do back up at the gym. And there's a fucking scene where Axe and Mark are like, Chapman doesn't have the disc. I think Tom might have it. And Cassie goes, well, Tom went down to the yeerk pool. So what are we going to do in the middle of the crowd? And like, that's how she delivers it. And I'm just like, Cassie, shut the fuck up. At least these other two are whispering, even though they still shouldn't be saying it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
an important thing happens
Yeah,
here.
something somewhat meaningful occurs at the end of part 1 here. So
Yeah,
you already said it. Tobias takes the disc.
Yes, he takes the disc.
And then
And then he's like, whoa, what's happening to me? Whoa! And he crashes and he starts to demorph.
Well,
Because,
starts to morph.
well, he starts to morph, sure. I mean, he starts to morph. He changes into a boy, something that we thought at first might happen in the season finale or earlier. And by last episode, I was like, I don't think they'll do that till season 2.
Yeah. So this is it. This is Tobias, we'll elaborate it on it more in part, but basically this episode ends on him being a boy. After or does Elfangor talk to him here? Yeah, he does.
Oh, does he? I thought that was season or part 2.
No, before the credits,
okay.
A hologram of Elfangor does appear from the disc and say, Tobias, you must carry out my plans or some vague bullshits like that.
Yeah. Oh, he does spell out that so there's a couple issues here that I have, but he does spell out that that Tobias can't. He's got his rules from the book, right? He can turn into a boy for 2 hours. He can morph into a boy, but he's a hawk, and if he decides to stay as a boy permanently, then he'll be stuck. So I do have a bit of an issue.
Mhm.
If the disc can grant him the power to morph again after he got stuck, then why can't he get stuck and then have the disc grant him the power to morph again? Because it can do that.
I mean, that's certainly one issue.
That's one issue that I have. Like with the Elemist, I get why they didn't use this Elemist for that, or maybe why they didn't use any Elemist at all. But eh, yeah, with the Elemist, it does make sense that he's a piece of shit. That's why. But with the disc here, it is kind of like I don't really understand why this is a conundrum, and you can't just do that.
Well,
Uh,
yeah. I mean,
oh, if you have
I
an
mean,
answer for me,
it's not a good answer, but I can like
uh,
pretend.
okay, go for
Well,
it.
you could like, well, maybe it's the same thing as the cube. Like, well, why can't if the cube can give you the morphing power, why can't it just do it again? Maybe it's just like it just works one way one time. I don't why. Who knows? It's just how
But
it works.
yeah, sure, that makes sense that it only works one time, except that it already did work one time, and now it worked again because if you
This
gave it.
gives you only 1 second chance.
All right, that was the cube gave him one. The disc didn't give him any yet.
I mean, do they still have the cube somewhere? I don't remember.
That's a good question.
And
I guess not. I don't think they've shown it.
yeah, and then it's like, I mean, yeah, okay, so that doesn't make sense. It also doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess the kind of the twist here is we're assuming, oh, it needs the Andalite DNA. It must be
Right.
Axe.
It must be Axe.
Then we find out, oh, it's Tobias.
Right. So they don't. That's not explained yet. Elfangor doesn't say that. So if you
Right.
don't know the books somehow and you're watching the show somehow, you're like, "How the hell did this happen? What?
Yeah,
Crazy."
right. But they also don't even
Mhm.
they don't even explain it if you didn't read the books. Like it's not brought up.
Right.
Well, nobody
No.
nobody knows this right now except for Tom and Visser 3. The Animorphs don't know that's the case.
Right. So this could be a part 3 reveal or an end of season 2
Just
reveal.
a reminder.
Or a we never got around to it reveal.
Just for listeners, we have not gotten to part 2 yet. There's more of this episode. Okay.
No.
But this is the biggest thing that happens really in these 2 parts.
Yeah. I mean, we already had new, which is crazy because they added the new Kandrona stuff, and now the disc has
Sure.
unlocked Tobias.
We don't need to. We don't have time to recap.
yeah.
We know. Everybody knows.
It's just insane the amount of stuff. But yes, as you said, we do have to ask if it's Andalite DNA that triggers it. Then why did the bird DNA trigger it?
Right. I guess that DNA is always in him. Always.
I guess.
Must be.
Yeah, sure.
Must be.
Why didn't it trigger the first time he
Right.
picked it up from Elfangor?
Right. Well, because it only gives you demorphs you if you happen to get permanently morphed. Otherwise,
No, but I mean, like, why could? Because it does. There's other stuff on there
Right.
too.
Well, we don't
So why didn't
know-
it immediately unlock?
did he unlock the rest of it too? We don't know what the fuck. We still don't know.
We will find out. We will find out in part 2 that he's learning more about it. It's got more capabilities, and he's starting to learn them.
Okay. Yeah. I guess that's true. Right.
Um,
yes. Good question.
So that's why didn't he do that?
They had this
and-
disc. Like they were all touching it.
Yeah. And now we have the third problem, which is the only reason we know it takes Andalite DNA is because the yeerks figured out it definitely takes Andalite DNA. And it must be someone in Elfangor's family, which means that Tobias, the human, has not morphed Elfangor DNA. Not like Elfangor's lineage or spirit. Tobias the human has Andalite DNA.
Well, I think that this is just an area where you, as a man of science, are just not going to accept it. But I think that in this world, DNA is magic, and
Yeah, right.
you're just no matter what you morph or whatever, you just always he carries that magic soul of Andalites in himself. That's just what it has to be.
Yeah,
Which works
to
great
the
if it's
point. Not
magic.
even just like in his body, right? Like, because you could say like, oh, he's still got his old human DNA in his body from before he morphed off, but like in his fucking semen, right?
Okay.
When he fucking had sex with Lauren, right?
let's be fair.
Some of his Andalite DNA made it into the baby's genetic code.
Now, we don't know for sure what version of that the show is going to go with. Who knows how Tobias is related to him?
I mean, this is kind of where I was going with he has Andalite DNA is maybe he wasn't morphed. Maybe Tobias is actually half Andalite.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I buy it.
It's a possibility. It's the only thing that squares with the Yeerks. You know, if Elfangor had said, or Axe had said, it has to be someone related to Elfangor or the Elemist, I would have been like, yeah, sure. It's mostly that the Yeerks figured it out because they would be seeing like, oh, I'm just tracking DNA, and they didn't even know it was Elfangor. They knew it was Andalite. That's like all they knew. So that's why I'm like, what is this? Anyway,
I mean, my biggest issue with all of this, honestly, is if you're gonna pull this shit, why bother introducing the Elemist at all? Like, there's no. Okay, sure, we got a time travel episode out of it, but you could have found another way to do that. It could have been a Sario rip or some shit. It could have been a dream. Who gives a shit? The Elemist, the Elemist is such a insane concept to bring into a TV show that if you're gonna do it, you might as well use all the stuff he does. So why then have the disc do this also? It's stupid.
I mean, the problem is that the Elemist sucks in this show.
Yeah.
I think we did speculate before he showed up that like maybe it would just be the disc and they wouldn't do an Elemist at all.
Yes, I'm certain we said, oh, maybe this disc turns him back.
Yeah. But then there was an Elemist.
Right. So then it was like, well, clearly now the Elemist will do it. Why?
Yeah, I don't know why they did the Elemist episode. They ran out of episodes they could do.
This disc has never been justified in this plot ever. It doesn't.
Yeah.
There's no reason for this disc to exist. I hate it.
It's not very good.
Just for the sake of completionism here, I will just mention the songs featured in the episode are "Subsidence" by DFE and "I Can Feel" by Michael McGregor.
I wonder when those played.
I bet there was one during the basketball game while they were playing.
Oh, you might be right.
Yeah. Both courtesy
Can
of...
I also say
sure.
about how bad they are with this disc? If all Tobias had to do to unlock it was, like, touch it, it's pretty bad, once again, that after being told to take care of this disc, he immediately hands it to Jake, because they would have solved the crisis of the disc literally day one, somehow or other. Like, even if it didn't trigger immediately, like, they would have just had it if he had listened to Elfangor at all.
Well, shouldn't it? Again, it sort of just triggered when he picked it up from him. None of it doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
They're acting like he's never had it before. It's just, they're just relying on you to not remember what happened, is what this is.
Yeah, it's dumb. Do we want to do part 2?
Yeah, let's. And I do think part 2 does not have as much meat on it, so we will get through it quicker.
Yeah. All right. So, okay, we open up back on. Well, you know, obviously we did the recap. Blah blah blah. We open up on Jake in the basement. He's still sneaking around, and we see Tom. And he's in the laser cage yelling at this Yeerk underling guy that I like. And Anne is in there with him.
That's right. Anne.
So how do you feel about Anne?
I'm just my feeling about Anne is, who the fuck is Anne? Tom talks to her like, oh, Anne's here. Yeah, it's Arrested Development. Her?
Yeah.
Just like, what? Why am I supposed to know who this is? Who is this?
Yeah.
Tom has a friend? And now I realize she was...
Yeah.
Did you realize she was in part 1? Because I didn't until rewatching just now.
I only realized on rewatch because I always watch it once at the beginning of the week, once at the end.
You're
so the second time I did know, but the first time I certainly did not.
Yeah, and you certainly wouldn't if these were aired a week apart.
Yeah.
And it doesn't also, by the way, it doesn't matter. You don't have to know who she is. I mean, unless she comes
No.
back in part 3, she doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, like, if this were a well-written show, I'd be all like, I guess this is Tom's friend. Maybe there's like a romantic interest here. There's like a whole thing where she's like, Tom, we can't win with the new Yeerks and the Kandroni. He's like, don't give up, Anne. Don't give up the fight. We can't let them win. And it's like, okay, are we setting up? Is Tom gonna do? I am at this point in the show legitimately wondering, are they gonna free Tom? Like,
Yeah.
we're doing this new Candronaless Yeerk thing. We're willing to go in other
Anything
directions.
goes.
Maybe anything goes. Maybe next season Tom gets freed. And if this were a well-written show, maybe Anne would matter. But I feel like my gut instinct is that she won't even be back for part 3, much less any other
I mean,
episodes.
here's the thing that's almost maybe being too generous to the show. But
Hmm.
it doesn't even matter because unfortunately, even if we're to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, "Oh, they're building to something. Oh, this will matter. They wanted this to actually matter." They get 5 more episodes. So it's like,
Yeah.
nothing's going to happen even if they tried, which is kind of sad. But anyway, fuck Anne. I don't know why Anne is there. By the way, I just
You're
double checked.
not a fan.
Just as an update, I now can confirm both episodes in the credits list Jessica Scott first as for the writing.
Okay.
So remember on Wikipedia where it's one of the
Right. Yeah.
so that's just some idiot on Wikipedia, probably some Seropedia editor who got too big for their britches and thought, "Oh, I'll
Mm.
try it over here too," and fucked up the order.
Yeah. You should maybe go in there and edit that back.
I'm going to. All right.
Uh,
I don't know.
so
Anne. Okay, it doesn't matter.
yeah, they take Tom away to get reinfested. He gets a Yeerk back in
No,
him.
I want to say
Um,
right here before you
yeah,
go on, because speaking of,
yeah.
Tom's going to get freed, there was a moment when Tom, they actually because he's fighting them off and struggling, and he falls
Hmm.
into the pool, and then he jumps right back up, and he's like, "You idiots, get me out of here! I told you to be careful." And I actually thought, oh, maybe he did not get a yerk in his ear, and he's faking it because he was only in the underwater for like a second.
I thought the exact same thing, especially
Wow.
because like they're dragging Tom to the pool, and instead of lowering his head, he's like fighting them. So he does this very dumb looking kind of like pratfall into the pool. He's like, "Whoa!" and falls in, and I'm like, why would he be written to do that? Is it, so that it can look like he got infested when he didn't and
Hmm.
he's being sneaky? We're setting up that he's rebellious. Oh man, it might all fit together. And as far as I can tell, unless they're going to spring a big twist, part 3,
Yeah.
like a really big twist,
Yeah.
no. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know that, I don't think it even is possible.
I don't think that they would have the patience or confidence in their audience to do a twist like that from between seasons.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
isn't
no.
Lost where people are analyzing this show on Reddit in between seasons. Like no one remembers a year later.
It's just us. We're the only people doing that.
Yeah, but that would have been cool. It is sort of a missed opportunity. Also, I do
Mhm.
want to say at this point, especially with in the dim light and there's kind of this mist throughout the entire Yerk pool. Jake is wearing this like blue sweatshirt turtleneck, maybe kind of a deal, and he looks exactly like a Backstreet Boy.
I mean, it's a like very high cut V-neck. It's not a
That's what it is.
turtleneck, but
It was
yeah.
dark. I couldn't quite tell, but he
Yes, I
has
hear it,
straight
or I
up
see it rather.
Backstreet Boys music video vibes.
Yeah, it's a little oversized
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
It's
Just like
yeah.
a little puffy and big, kind of like a cool 90s, like a puffy jacket, but
Mhm.
it's a shirt.
Yeah.
It's good.
No, you're right. That's correct.
All right. I don't know. We go back to the basketball game. Yeah.
Yeah, back to the basketball game, and Chapman announces a tornado warning. So everybody has to go down to the basement where they have a shelter there.
We didn't mention that the name of the basketball team is the Meteors.
Wait. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. What?
That's very interesting
Okay.
because
It is?
I didn't notice that. But I did notice something else. Or is this the opponents? Are they the red guys or the meteors? Or
There's people in the crowd with signs that spell out meteors, so I assume it's their school.
okay, because the cheerleaders spelled out possibly kings, but I think Vikings.
Maybe
And I'm seeing a big yellow sign that also looks like it might say Vikings. So it
it
could be the
is.
meteors and the Vikings, or they might have just fucked up.
Maybe it is the away team or whatever. The opponents are the meteors.
There's the yellow team, and they're the yellow team's the Vikings, and there's a red team.
This show's so incompetent they can't even convey to us which team they should be rooting for.
I'm assuming that they're the yellow team because that's the one that gets the most like screen time.
Also, the scoreboard, their electronic scoreboard, is just sitting on a table. They don't have it mounted on a wall. It's also they don't. It's just labeled home, so they don't have team names on it. It's the saddest fucking basketball game.
This is how in Canada, they don't care about sports like they do here in America.
Only hockey.
In America, like half the school's budget goes to sports.
Right. Half. Three quarters at least.
It is kind of odd. It feels of the time to make this basketball and not football because, like, my entire high school experience, this would not have been basketball.
Well, it's, true to the books in that regard.
That's true, yeah. You're right.
Jake wasn't on the basketball team, or he didn't make it? Is that what happened?
In the books, he didn't make it. I don't remember if they said anything about that in the show. Presumably they did.
It would have been fun if Jake was on the basketball team. They should have let him be on it.
Right?
Give this man a fucking hobby.
Yeah, especially since Tom quit, he could hang out with Juan and Terry and they could be all like, "Man, I can't believe your brother quit."
Imagine
he keeps trying to get us to go to the sharing, but I'm all mad at him. It'd be fun.
They just do Friday Night Lights, but also there's yeerks. It'd be great. Anyway, oh no, I think Coach got yeerked. So yeah, they do there's a tornado warning. I guess that also, are there tornadoes in California or Canada? I don't.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I think in California they only have fire tornadoes.
Right, that's now, yeah.
Yeah, it could be earthquakes, maybe.
Right. So I guess
they got to go to the basement for the earthquake. I don't know why they. Yeah.
This must take place in Oklahoma. I don't know. That would explain a lot, actually. Yeah, so this is it. This is perfect. What a get for the yeerks. They can now infest all 14 students.
Yeah, they couldn't have done it before when they were in school. They couldn't just like call kids to the principal's office and infest them there. They got to take everyone all at once in the basketball game when they're in a massive crowd and could fight back.
Oh, you know what? Oh, never mind. What am I?
I'm excited. You got me really
Why did
excited.
I get so excited about
I want to know what you were going to say.
I'm
all hyped up now.
It's so fucking stupid.
I'm so hyped. I'm like vibrating over here.
I just thought, oh, some of their jerseys are yellow, so maybe that's why the cups were yellow. It's because it's a team spirit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I could see that.
So that would help us determine which. I think the meteors are probably red and the Vikings are yellow.
Yeah, I could see that. That's clever.
I'm so depressed that I got so excited about that.
The best thing that's happened in your life in a long while.
I've had such a low. That's for the next week. If I see anybody, I'm gonna be like, "You're not gonna believe what happened." I realized the cups were yellow.
I'm so smart.
I put all the pieces together. Okay. What do you?
You really are a Holmes type.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Outside, Rachel finds Tobias and he's a boy.
The meteors are red, by the way. I confirmed.
Okay.
And they are definitely the Vikings that are yellow.
Okay.
And also one of the meteors on the back of their jersey. Actually, they all say Mamba. What the
What?
Or do they say Mumbai? They all say MUMBA over their numbers. Like that's their.
That would be their name, wouldn't it? Like on the front it says Meteors, and on the back it has your name over your number?
Yeah, it should, but I see
Are they?
two kids that both say MUMBA in one shot together.
Maybe they're the Mumba brothers.
What the fuck's going on? Where did they get these jerseys?
What is Mumba?
I don't-
What, like outside of the context of the show, where did Props get these jerseys?
Is
Like, who put Mumba on it?
is that the name of the company that just makes the fake jerseys? And that's like the default printing if you don't ask for specific names from wardrobe.
Well,
You're seeing
Mumba
that, right?
Jersey
Like you see
Company.
that in these shots. It says Mumba.
What is this from the Mumba basketball team on? What the fuck is
Is
this?
this a real basketball?
Solid Adidas University Mumba replica jersey? What? Okay, it's showing. Oh no, but some of this stuff appears. This is weird.
We're going down a rabbit hole here. We weren't meant to see this.
U Mumba is the Mumbai City franchise of the Pro Kabaddi League.
Are they Canadian?
So I guess this is an Indian team? What the fuck is this?
Now, the yellow jerseys, I want to say, don't have anything but a number on the back. Only the red jerseys say Mumba. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm gonna assume it's the Mumba brothers.
It's got to be the Mumba brothers. They're probably the big rivals of Juan and Terry from the other school.
Yeah.
Come on, Terry. We can't lose to the Mumba
New
brothers
fanfic.
again. All right.
I'm dying.
We're-
This is not good.
We're like halfway through the episode. It's fine.
It's okay.
Cut to Rachel and Tobias.
Yes.
Let me just say,
I
yeah. What are you gonna ask?
I was gonna say, like, right off the bat, immediately, this fucking the transition in here, where it starts as like a almost entirely sideways shot of the window, and then the camera like swoops down in this crazy spin, like it looks ridiculous. And the school is this weird old brick that looks like some kind of like historical house and not a school at all.
Yeah.
Very strange.
It's one of those. Sometimes schools have an old building like that,
Yeah, I guess that's true.
especially in Canada. I mean, I don't know what's going on with this school. It looks like shit every time we see it. Didn't we figure out what it's called? I forget the name of it.
Oh, we did. It was pretty recent too.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know.
It was
It's not.
not memorable or interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
What were you gonna say?
I was going to say, okay, so this is our big scene, Rachel and Tobias reuniting in human form.
Hmm.
These two actors have negative chemistry. I feel
Yeah.
nothing from them. And that's a problem. Well, number one, I think they just aren't that strong of actors. But number two, it's because they don't know each other. They've only been on set together for 10 minutes all season. It's not
Right.
entirely their fault. Tobias, Christopher Ralph should have been on set with a bird puppet in every scene to build rapport doing the lines. Like Bradley Cooper in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, wait,
I mean,
wait.
I
Bradley Cooper doesn't actually do that. It's
Oh.
James Gunn's brother is the stand-in for Rocket Raccoon. He just does the voiceover. But still, they
Sure.
build rapport with Sean Gunn. Anyway, instead of they don't have a raccoon.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not great. Again, and I don't mean to be mean.
Uh-oh. She might come on the show, so be careful.
Say it's not terrible by Rachel's standards in the sense that she is definitely trying to convey an emotion.
Look,
But yes, she does not sell it. He doesn't really sell it great either. He does better than her, but you're like it doesn't. This does not feel like
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It does.
It doesn't work.
It does not. You aren't feeling this triumphant. Oh my God, they're together again. Also, because you're like, do they even care? Like, I don't know. It's Tobias in this show seems to genuinely want to be a boy again. Which to be fair, I think I don't know. That's at this point in the books. It sort of goes both ways. Sometimes I think, but there's none of that here. Like he's just happy to be a boy.
It's interesting because they didn't really show that struggle for Tobias at all. The one Tobias centric episode we got that was a flashback to his like turning into a hawk and his like being a boy and whatever, all that shit. We don't really deal with like there's a line at the end that's like I'm a boy but I'm also a bird. And that's about as much as we get. Like in the books when he changes back, the other Tobias book was entirely about him trying to come to terms with being a hawk. And here it's just like yeah, he's a bird. He's just a bird. And sometimes people will make jokes about it and he'll be like, "Yep, sucks being a bird, but I guess I got to eat roadkill or something." And we just don't care. And it's very strange that we never took the time to actually have him try to cope with being stuck as a bird before we make him not have to be a bird anymore. And that is certainly part of why it's just like, well, obviously he wants to be a boy.
Yeah.
Like, how could he not?
It's too complicated.
We've never seen anything otherwise.
We can't be exploring why a kid might want to be a bird. It's just, that's too hard.
Yeah.
It's just, he wants to be a boy because he's a boy. It's just, that's what it is. He turned into a bird. He wants to be a boy. That's all we need. We don't need to go any further than that.
Yeah. And even then it's like, that's about it. It's not even like, oh my God, it's so traumatic and terrible and difficult being a bird. It's just like, no, he wants to be a boy. Well, now he is. Oh, but he only for 2 hours. Oh, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's pretty limp for a thing we've been waiting to happen for so long. They just didn't do the legwork for it. And it's just kind of like, okay, well, whatever. They finally did it in a weird way that doesn't make sense, but fine.
Yes.
And yeah, it's a shame that the Rachel Tobias just does nothing for me.
Yeah, no, it does suck. Yeah, so, and this is also where Chapman realizes the disc is gone, Lamau.
How could this have happened? How could it have possibly disappeared from my precarious window ledge?
Yeah, so I don't know what he says exactly here, but there is some point in here where Jake says something about like I can't morph, and Tom talks about turning off the security to let the humans in. And Jake's like, "Aha! Now I can morph."
Okay,
right.
I now understand what you were talking about before. Okay,
and well, anyway, he says now I can morph, but he gets trapped, right? Because either Tom only turned off the biofilter, or he was lying, or something. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. It's another box because, it's always a box trap. But I don't like the first time I watched it, I was kind of like, okay, Jake's following Tom. Wait, I guess he's in a trap. How'd that happen? Watch it again. Tom kind of like sidesteps out of a room and closes the door real quick. But anyway, he gets trapped.
He gets trapped. Jake's big plan to turn into a lizard and get trapped. He's like, now's my chance. I'm going to do the thing. I'm a lizard. And I'm going to walk into a room and a door will close. Well, I didn't think this through, did I?
Yeah.
The great General Jake. General Custer. Big Jake.
Yeah. Fucking these boxes. Tom does some more gloating that I like. More of the word brood that I like.
This is, we should focus on this for a second because Tom says to him, quote, "We've overtaken," I think Tom says this, "we've overtaken more worlds than you can count." Which in the books canonically is 3? 3 or 4 maybe? So
yeah,
that's a pretty big claim. Now that could be yeerk bravado because that would make sense to lie to an ant. But also, and if he thinks he's an Andalite,
the Andalite would know.
Yeah, the Andalite would know. So then that's a pretty big, obviously this is just the writers making shit up, but if that's supposed to be canon for the show, then that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you don't know all the Yeerk lore and you're like, they're the scourge of the galaxy,
Yeah.
they enslave sentient species, you might be like, they probably got a lot of them, right?
Right.
Like,
You're
right?
thinking
They
they're
wouldn't
like
have like,
souls or something.
yeah, I
Body
am thinking that.
snatchers. Yeah.
It wouldn't be like a 3,
Right.
2.
Right.
That would be too few. That would be stupid.
Right. They have 3, right? They have Horks, Taxon planet, and presumably the Ged planet.
The Ged planet is their
Oh,
home
that's
planet, which
theirs.
is technically under Andalite blockade, so I don't know if it counts.
Oh, then I guess it's 2.
I feel like there was one other, like maybe the Hodgebrons or Anga chicks that, like one of those was like a spacefaring species they just captured some of, but like maybe one of them they actually might have gotten a world, but I might be wrong there.
Dunno.
That it was just like they got some, they captured a mothership and they're spacefarers or something.
Yeah. More than you can count. It's got to be in the
Yeah.
millions. I mean, Jake's not the brightest bulb, but surely he can count to a few thousand at least.
Yeah. There's like 1,
Mhm.
2.
Sure. Don't forget 3.
There's 3. Wow.
Yeah.
I think there's more than that as
Yes,
well.
there are.
Uh,
Okay. It's fine.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Do I care about any of this other stuff that I wrote down here?
I don't know. We see more Tobias and Rachel, and I said that I hate this pussy ass version of Rachel.
Yeah, you're right.
She's just so it's really hitting me now at the end of the season. Like, I know she's not the angry Rachel, but man, she's not even. She's just like, Tobias, what should we do? I don't know. Like, she doesn't take charge in any regard. She's so wishy-washy and lame. She sucks.
Yeah.
She sucks
She
so
does
bad.
suck. She's not good.
I mean, Tobias is a little better, but I also don't. This is where he starts explaining to her all about how the disc works. And
All about is a strong word
I
or
mean,
phrase, but
he
yes.
tells her things about it that I
Yes.
don't understand how he knows these things. You think he just
Yeah.
knows them just because he touched it?
Yeah, I think there's some kind of weird psychic commune with the disc thing, and he's doing it in his mind. Because
It
what
must
other
be.
explanation is there? Like, what did he have time to do?
Right.
Like, did he sit down there? Did he plug it into the computer and no, he did. I don't know.
Yeah. Off screen, Elfangor filled him in on the rest.
And he says like, I'm still figuring it out. So
By the way, what was this AI version of Elfangor? Was that just a recording, or was it actually responding to him? And maybe he shouldn't have triggered it to go off immediately, just in case there was, like, I don't know, yeerks around or
right.
something.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, its eyes looked really fucked up. I don't know if that's normal for the Elfang, but they were like not the same.
That's the first time
They
we've
looked
seen
like
an Andalite
different and weird.
in a while.
It is.
I did want to say I looked up that it is the same voice of Elfangor from the first episode.
I assumed it was, but I didn't really. I
was
wouldn't
curious.
Have, like, bet on it.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Tobias just says shit here that just doesn't add up.
Yeah, they're like, we gotta go into the Yeerk pool, and they closed it off. Okay, so they got to get past the biofilter, and Tobias says that, and this is an interesting conceit, and I think it makes, or it could make sense. I don't know that the show made it make sense, but he basically says that there is the code for Yeerk DNA or something to that effect. There is Yeerk DNA in the disc. And so Rachel can touch the disc and to acquire a Yeerk. And presumably this is how Tobias got his body back, right? Because he couldn't go back in time. Presumably he was also stored on the disc. So Rachel's gonna morph a Yeerk and then infest Tobias so they can go in as a controller and beat the scans.
Yeah.
So, like, 3 absolutely insane things just happened here.
Yeah, you really at this point now I'm like, what are we doing in season 2? Because if the disc has a Yeerk and Tobias, it should have every animal and alien
Yeah,
in existence, and they can just use that disc and morph into
yeah.
anything.
Is Elfangor on it? I would think he might
Do
be.
they have the chance to play a really funny prank on Axe?
Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh, that gotcha.
He's
No, he's still dead.
he's crying.
Yeah,
Tears running down his hoofs.
Caffet birds on there
Sure,
maybe. I don't know.
Lyrins, there's
Yeah.
Hork-Bajirs, there's fucking Glognars from the moon of planet Jungo. All kinds of shit's
The
on.
5.
Yeah, the 5, Jubba Jubba,
Ooh, jumpa jumpa.
all kinds of shit. Who knows? But so this idea, though, I think is not bad.
Mhm.
I mean, it's such a leap that whatever. You have to just disregard how she
Yeah.
gets a Yeerk, whatever. The idea of, to sneak in, one of us becomes a Yeerk. Because at some point in the series, they had Yeerk morphs, or at least some of them did. And
Yes.
I don't think they ever did
Cassie,
this, right?
So Cassie morphs a Yeerk once for this express purpose.
Oh shit, that is why she does
Um,
it. I forgot
or
everything
or
already.
yes, in book 29, she morphs a
Down with the
Yeerk
sickness.
so that Tidwell can carry her past the biofilter into the Yeerk pool so she can save Aftran. And
Okay.
that is the reason she acquires a Yeerk. Now, this came out before that, assuming that the February release date is correct, which to me says it was definitely written before that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool that they
Yeah.
both like are doing this shit. Maybe Kay Applegate legitimately got the idea from this
I
episode.
mean, it makes sense if you're doing this series for this long. It feels like that's a
Mhm.
natural thing that would happen. I actually think it's more interesting for it to be one Animorph in another. The way they carry it out, though, is a little strange. It doesn't seem like Rachel should be in control, but the way, I mean, I guess you can choose to
Yeah.
relinquish control.
Yeah,
But-
and remember, this is show Rachel, so she has
Right.
no idea what to do. She wants Tobias to take charge of this one. She's not gonna.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. She's completely passive.
Yeah.
She's just like a voice on the ride in Tobias's head. And we also don't get any, I guess they couldn't really do this, but
Mhm.
there's certainly, even in a G-rated book or PG-rated book or show, you could have something interesting about, I'm in the head of the guy I like, and I can like read his thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
They don't do that.
I really like the idea of Rachel in Tobias, not just because it actually allows them to like, be forced to be emotionally vulnerable against their will, which is fun, but it does, with Book Rachel, you get that really cool thing where like Book Rachel as a Yeerk would absolutely not relinquish control even when asked. Right, which is fun. Like, there's cool shit you could, and Book Tobias would absolutely let her. So like you could do cool, fun shit with that, and it would be great. But yeah, here it's just kind of like, yeah, Rachel is there. She's a Yeerk. She's the voice. I don't know what it's like to be a Yeerk. I don't know what. I have no idea what the experience of like. As
Yeah.
far as I know, she's just kind of in there.
There's no POV shot like the capture where we get some weird
Mhm.
inner Yeerk world, which, to be fair, they don't really have time for that. But I mean, they could have cut out half of the shit from last episode that was superfluous and done it or something. But it's fine. It's just
Yeah.
a device. It's fine.
Yeah, or they could have spread out some of these cool ideas into the episodes that had nothing in them. But
Mhm.
that's kind of true to the books as well, I suppose.
Right. It doesn't make it better, but it is there throughout.
It is there.
Yeah, but they also just don't even say like, oh, there's no scene of like, whoa, that's so weird. Rachel, move my arm for me. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
there's not even that. That's like the bare minimum thing you want to see happen. They don't do
Yeah.
that.
Like, she might as well be, like, in his pocket
Right.
or something.
Just like a mouse
Like,
in
it
his
just
pocket.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't even see him, like, put the yeerk in his ear, which would be kind of cool. We
Or
just
see Rachel morph a yeerk?
we don't see that either. They just cut. Yeah, they really did take an interesting idea and do it the absolute least interesting possible way.
Yeah.
Which is still at a bare minimum level somewhat interesting. but it's the lowest you could go.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, not amazing. Let's see here. What the hell are we doing? Yeah, Jake in the box again. Me wondering why they never put cameras in these things. Yeah, okay. What are Tobias and Rachel actually doing in here? So there's a point where, uh, the guy who is maybe Scotty,
Sure.
stops him and he pulls the whole, it's like, oh, Visser 3 said, nobody's supposed to come in here and get Kandrona yet. And he's like, oh, well, Visser 1 said I was supposed to come in here. Um,
And it
which
works.
now means, hmm?
And it works.
And it works, and it works. I mean, this is a risk, right? Because he is right. There's every chance that this Yeerk would just be like, I don't want to fucking deal with this today. But there's also every chance that he would just be like, no, I'm loyal to Visser 3 and I'm going to kill you. So,
Sure.
um, but this also does mean that this is kind of Tobias's thing, isn't it? Like, one of the only things he ever did, other than, I guess, in a flashback as a boy, was when they were in the Yeerk pool in Underground, and he was all like, no, no, we report to Visser 3, don't bother. Like, he pretends to be a controller. That's what he does.
That's his special move. That's his signature
That's his
move.
special move. Yeah.
Yeah.
He uses his Keanu charisma to pretend to be a Yeerk.
Yeah, because why would a yeerk ever lie about anything? Surely he's telling the truth. There's a yeerk in him, so let him do whatever the fuck he
That's
says.
true. That's true. Oh, we get to see a scanner here. I don't know that it's the same as in the other scenes, but we do get to see one.
It just looks like a television remote control.
Yeah, but with like a big red glowing square that turns green. on it.
Yeah. Well, it's like one of those remotes that has the little screen at the top that are incredibly
Mm.
confusing to navigate, and no one ever knows what the fuck you do
Mm.
with them. They're always at your one
Did those
friend's house.
exist in the 90s?
Yeah, I bet they were starting to. I bet there was some sharper image, like
Mm.
$200 ridiculous stupid remote that was annoying and didn't work. Anyway,
I believe it.
I don't know.
Runs into this other guy.
Who
Also
cares?
has to get past him. I don't know. I kind of liked when he was like, they need you upstairs, and the guy was like, why don't they need you? And Tobias is like, because I'm just a little guy. I'm just a weak little guy. You're so big and strong. And the guy's like, all right, I guess they do need me.
That's true. That's kind of a
That's
good
kind of
line.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's not
this
bad.
is
It's
fun.
like my host is not as intimidating as your host.
Yeah, whatever he actually says.
Yeah. Yes, he doesn't actually say I'm just a little guy.
No.
He's like, your host is more threatening, which is that's kind of I
Right.
kind of like that because I was like, oh, that's the Yeerks aren't like aware of they don't care about their bodies. That's not what they think about. They're not they don't have
Yeah.
our biases. They're not like, oh, I'm gonna bully this guy. They're just like, that's my superior, I guess.
Right. So they start hurting, or I guess is this the Tom thing first? Tom has to be in front of Visser 3 and be like, oh shit, I lost the disc, but he can't tell him that, and Visser 3 is mad at him, or is that
Yeah, that happened. Well, and then this is while everybody's being still herded down to the
Oh.
basement.
Okay, yes. So this does start first. Now I assume you have similar complaints here.
I'm curious because I think at this point I wasn't thinking much at all. So let's see.
All right. Well, let's escort everybody down to the tornado shelter
Yeah.
that we have conveniently built beneath the school.
Right. No.
The normal, regular tornado shelter, this gigantic ass, damp, nasty, unfinished cave with the giant bubbling pool and all the weird tech gadgets and the laser cages. Yeah, this is just, it's a normal tornado shelter. Everyone's just standing in line. Yep, here we are for the tornado. I don't want to get hit in a tornado. Oh, we're going to take you one by one. I'm going to take you into chamber 2. And the rest of you just wait in line. Yep, sounds normal to me. Chamber 2 of the tornado shelter. Yep, this all hangs together. No problems. No one's suspicious. I believe this. I buy it. Yeah, sure.
The entrance to which is also a secret passageway behind lockers.
Secret passage behind the lockers.
Unlabeled. And no one's ever heard of this tornado shelter.
What the fuck?
I mean, to be honest, I do sort of buy that human beings are just dumb and pliable, and that if you're a bunch of kids in a school at a basketball game and your teacher said go down here, you probably would just do it. Like,
you'd all just be sitting there like, what the fuck is this place? I've never been here before.
Yeah,
I guess we gotta go over there.
Because I mean, as ridiculous
Chamber 2.
as ridiculous as it is, what are you gonna think? Like, oh gee, are they aliens that are gonna kill us? Like, you wouldn't think that. You would just be like, I don't know, fucking, I'm bored. I want to go home. This sucks. I would probably go down there. I mean,
yeah, but you don't think that when you got down there and they're like, there's all this shit, you wouldn't just like wait in line. You wouldn't be like, what is going on right now?
Sure.
Well, Chapman,
I think that,
what the hell is this?
I think that probably did happen. They just didn't want to pay an extra to say it. I think a couple kids look around skeptically, and that's the representation of that.
I don't know about all this.
This must be the new technology. Wow, this is like a good shelter. You know?
The fucking rock cave walls in the hallway, yeah.
It's a field trip. Just tell
the unfinished basement, the cave.
They also, I mean, there's not even a reason to bring them down there, because you have the whole school on lockdown. Just line them up and bring them into the office, and one at a time put a yeerk in their ear. Like,
yeah. But then you might ask why they didn't just do that normally.
Yeah. The whole premise
is a tornado warning then. They couldn't go down into the cave.
It's absolutely, it does not hold up from any standpoint at all. I also, at this point, I was wondering, did Eugene Lipinski was he doing something this week, like that he couldn't show up in person? Because he's only on this TV screen, and then finally he does actually show up in person.
Yeah, for like 30 seconds at the very end.
So I don't what's even the point of that? But he's there.
Yeah,
where was he?
Know. Whatever.
What was he doing?
I do like him snarling at the TV in ultra close up. That I like.
I also didn't understand Tom is telling him like, oh, I don't know about the disc right now, but we did capture an Andalite. And Visser 3's like, I don't care about an Andalite. I want to know about the disc. I was like, wait, what do you mean? Isn't that way more important?
He only wants the Andalite to unlock the disc. If Tom doesn't have the disc unlocked, he doesn't care.
What is
Who gives
so
a
important
shit about the Andalites? They don't matter. All that matters is the disc. That's all he cares about. That's why the disc has been so important all season, and it's like turned up in every plot line, is because of how important it is to them. They don't care about the Andalites.
Right, they don't care. He's like, there's porn on there and I want it. Is that funny?
What does he think shouldn't he know that this is a yeerk disc? Like, what is he?
What does this knows?
What new abilities will this disc reveal next season, other than it stores morph DNA and it gives morphing back to people who are stuck?
None.
Or whatever.
Maybe
and it's got hologram Melfangor.
It would make sense for Visser 3 if there was all that DNA actually was on there, and now he could morph into anything he wanted and take over the world. Mm-hmm. But they're not going to let the Animorphs morph into any animal. That's just not going to happen.
No.
Unless it's only once per day you can choose an animal or something. Once a month.
Some D&D shit. That's right. You pick your animal before the campaign starts.
You must take a long rest and switch out your source before you can choose a new one.
Maybe he just wants to torment the hologram Elfangor. Right, I wanna gloat to him.
Or to jerk off to him. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I was thinking that too. I didn't want to say it.
Right. I wouldn't say it either.
I'll let you do that.
I would never say that. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Is there any? There's just a bunch of fluff before they get to Jake in the trapped cage, right? And then they open it up with Visser 3.
Yeah, some like they confront Tobias and shit. Cassie is
Oh,
dragged
yeah.
to whatever.
It's kind of.
doesn't.
I guess it's sort of fun to see Marco and Tobias joking around
Yeah.
together.
It should be more fun than it is,
Sure.
I think, in this scene.
Sure.
Like, and part of it it comes again from the whole, like, they're not, and part of it is Tobias and Rachel not selling it too, and just the fact that this is so crazy that it's hard to sell it right. You know, it's like Marco's over here. What's going on? Oh, I'm just pretending to be a controller. How the fuck are you a boy? Oh, Rachel's a yeerk in my head. What? How did the? Okay, cool. Well, I guess you did that. Like, you just can't
Yeah.
react to that well. It's too much.
Well, and the delivery of it is it's all very
Yeah.
matter of fact. It's just like
Yeah.
there's no weight to any of this stuff that should have weight.
It is kind of weird when the Rachel's like, I'm a yeerk in Tobias's head, and Marco's like, let me see, and like goes to look in Tobias's ear. What's that about?
He wants to see, man. He likes it.
He's into that.
He's
kind
like,
of
put her
thing,
in me
isn't
next. Let's go.
All right, yes. So fluff until Tom goes to infest Jake because he wants to infest him to make him cooperate to whatever. Who
Jake
gives a
has
shit?
put out the one light bulb in this room. That's his only plan that he has.
Yes, he can't morph small because he'll be sucked up by the grate. And he can't morph into a tiger because he just can't.
Well,
They might. What if they?
they're
shoot
holding
him?
like a vacuum that I guess is a suction machine. It's like a fucking proton pack. But
Yeah.
they stand there for like 10 minutes talking about where is he? Huh? Where is he? He could have just been a bug and flown over their heads like 20
Yeah.
times during this scene.
Now, also, Tom is like, okay, I'm gonna go in there and infest this Andalite. I don't want anyone coming in after me. I, a human controller, am going to go in alone, and you, my armed guards, you have to stay out here. Okay, if he comes out, shoot him, but I'm gonna go in there alone. Why? Like, I know why, because they're gonna do something very fun with it, but it kind of sucks that there's no good reason that this is set up like this.
Yeah, it's hubris, of course.
I suppose, yes. And now he's
He
really
wants the
flustered
credit.
because he knows he's got to get the disc.
So how this episode ends, the 2-part the season finale cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
Stay tuned. Wait a year to find out what's going to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
Visser 3 goes up to the door and he's like, what's going on in there? 2 Toms emerge.
Mm-hmm.
Visser 3 says, which one is the Tom or some shit, right? He's like, which one is the one I want? And they're both like, it's me, sir. No, it's me, sir. Cut to credits.
This is why it's called Face Off.
Oh, that's why.
Exchanging identities.
That is why.
That's why.
Okay, I have multiple questions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
First, I guess we're to assume, did Jake just grab him and acquire him, or did he do this at some point, like while they were all at home? Pass me the peas, Tom. Gotcha.
He has to have just done it because otherwise, why the whole conceit of Jake is trapped in a box, Tom goes in the box alone, the lights are off, and then they both come out. Like, why not just?
Well, that way
Why not
you
just,
can't see the mix-up. You don't know. You can't keep track. It's like ball in a cup game.
Yeah, but why can't Tom just like run off screen, and then like another Tom comes in, and then Tom comes in, and you don't know because Jake already did it. Yeah, like
I
why?
don't know.
Like this whole weird box thing is convoluted, and at the end doesn't even make sense that Tom would go in there. So presumably it's because he has to acquire him, right? We have to explain that somehow.
I guess. I don't think they're gonna though.
I don't. Yeah.
But okay, just how does this get resolved that's interesting in part 3, because it seems to me this is an incredibly easy problem for the yeerks to solve. All
Yeah.
you have a scanner
Yeah.
that tells you who has a yeerk in them. You just go bibbity beep, it's this one. Like there's no possibility of this causing any issue for the yeerks. This is what's
Yeah.
this gonna buy them? 30 seconds maybe? Or how about ask them any question? Any question. There's a million
Yeah.
things that Tom's yeerk would know that Jake wouldn't know.
Yeah.
What are we, how could this possibly lead to anything?
Yes, I mean, this was also one of my questions for the start of next season was, okay, we end on this thing where there's 2 Toms. We end on it as a
Not two
cliffhanger.
Jakes. It's not a sequel to Chinatown.
There's a fucking I hate you. Um,
I had to say it. I don't have many chances left.
uh, but yeah, we do that whole thing. The episode's fucking called Face Off, and I do assume this is why. Right? Like, or like
Is this really why? I don't know that this is
I don't
why.
know. Maybe you're not. Maybe it's not.
I think
But
it's
like,
because they're facing off.
but they fucking they end on it like this is a huge cliffhanger,
Yeah.
and like this is a big thing. There's so many things they could have ended on in this episode that could be a big deal. Even just like Cassie getting dragged away, right? And we got to save her, right? But this here, and so the assumption is that this is a big deal next episode. So like I have to assume that Jake keeps up the Tom facade for at least 5 minutes of showtime. Not like real life,
Right.
but like in showtime. But like, how could this take more than like 1 to 2 minutes of dialogue max? Because it's not going to take more than 1 to 2 minutes of real world time. How could it?
Yeah.
Unless it does?
Close the
Maybe
door.
Jake is Tom for the whole rest of the next episode.
Close the door, and then there's a 2-hour time limit. He'll morph back.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a problem that solves itself.
Yeah, like there's just no. I mean, also, don't you know he's human? They say he's in human morph. That's weird. Tom goes in there and he fucking grabs him and changes. They must.
Oh well.
So you would think that he gave it away now, but there's no way he.
It
gave
was
it away.
dark.
I don't believe for a second that they think
he just
that.
assumed that he went back to Andalite first, but it's so dark he can't see.
Yeah, they do morph really fast. So
Because an Andalite would do this and not just like whack him with his tail, and then escape or something.
yeah,
It's so I can't imagine what this leads to that's worthwhile. It's it's a really lame cliffhanger. It's the lamest way to end the season.
listen, if Jake is Tom for the entirety of part 3 and doesn't morph back until the very end, I will be happy.
But why?
If it's a twist reveal and it turns out he's like you thought he was the wrong Tom, I'm gonna love it.
But Jake's
I'll
the
lose
one
my
with the
shit.
twin in real life. That should be a whole episode. I mean, they didn't even do that, except for one scene. Anyway, doesn't matter.
That's yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do we have any? What do we think? Part 3 could have some other ridiculous idea. It could continue with these new yeerks. It could explore more of the disc. It could just be a straight up battle of wits between Tom and Jake and Visser 3. I don't know. My other question I'm curious about is, are we going to see a big shift in the visual or any other aspect of the show the next part, because it's a new season? Did they actually film all 3 of these parts back to back and hold one over, or did they only do the first 2 and then come back a year later or 6 months later or whatever? I'm curious.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we won't. If we see a big shift, we'll know. But if we don't see a big shift, we'll still be wondering for the next episode, I guess.
Yeah.
Because of that. Yeah, that's interesting as a question. Maybe they'll be. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I was wondering, like, you're talking about the disc.
You know I am.
We have obviously said Tobias must be related to Elfangor or something. Is that mystery even going to get brought up next episode? Is it going to get resolved next episode? I have no clue where they're going with it.
No clue. Don't know.
Yeah.
It's probably just be a thing they
this,
mentioned like once maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of running on the assumption that they just weren't going to bother to do any of that this season. They were like, fuck it, we'll do it next season, if at all. And no, they did do it. They sure did do a lot of shit in this last episode.
So, obviously, I think part 1 was stronger than part 2 here. I do think watching these back to back, in spite of numerous complaints that I had, I was still mostly along for this ride, and I was like, I was happy there once again that they're just trying new stuff, and nothing in these episodes logically I had issues with it, but there wasn't too much that in terms of the presentation, the visuals, the pacing that made me go like, oh no, this sucks or anything like that. I thought it was at least at worst competent. Assuming you aren't trying to make the sci-fi shit really make too much sense. I did overall, like, I do think maybe we can talk about this next week, but I feel like this season does end stronger than it starts. And maybe not episode 1 to this episode, but like overall trajectory, I do think the show has improved from the beginning of the season to the end.
I'd have to think about that.
Well, you think about it for next week.
Has it actually improved, or is it just like, yeah, I like some of these episodes toward the end, but they're in the same, like, it doesn't feel like they're improving. It just feels like they got stuck here. Yeah, I don't know. I did like these episodes. I thought these were fun. These were definitely some of the best that the show has.
I don't know. Are people, is that like a shocking thing for us to say after listening to us complain about them for 2 hours?
Probably not. I mean, I don't know. Like, listen, it was fun. I enjoyed some of the silly over the top stuff. I like that it kind of paid off things I liked about Chapman. I like that it paid off actually caring any kind of way about Tom whatsoever. I like that they're throwing a bunch of. I like that they're doing something with Tobias. I like that they're throwing a bunch of new ideas, from the disc has weird powers to new Kandrona yeerks to all kinds of, like, it's cool, it's fun, and it's the sort of thing that they should have been doing the whole time. I did enjoy myself watching it.
I agree. I'm in the same boat.
Thank you.
We got to get out of here because this is very long. Listeners, let us know what you thought about this season finale or the first season or any other Animorph stuff. We'll read it next week. TheYeerkyBoys@gmail.com is our email address. We're also on the Patreon, patreon.com/TheYeerkyBoys. And this is a big week because we're going to be discussing Stephenie Meyer's novel, The Host, which involves aliens in people's heads. So you're definitely going to want to hear our thoughts on that book.
You want to.
Now, next week on the main feed podcast, we are not jumping to season 2 right away. So don't, if you're watching along with us, wait. It's not time yet. We have a little bit of a break. We'll discuss a little bit of, how we feel about this season as a whole, maybe, but specifically, we're going to be reading a special book that was released called Meet the Stars of Animorphs.
An authorized biography.
Thanks. We're going to be reading that book and learning about the stars behind the scenes and giving you all that juicy info next week.
Yeah, because we probably won't have much to say about the season that we didn't already say, so you'll get a book too. If we do, you'll get another long one.
Yeah. One of our last books we'll be reading on the show. Well,
God, I'm fucking books.
I know.
So happy to be done with those.
I know. Okay, that's it. Let's get out of here.
Thanks everyone for listening. Tune in next time when we are going to meet the stars of Animorphs on the Yeerky Boys.